Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to the weekly stand-up, your discussion of games through the lens of labor movements and workers' rights. I'm your host for today, Mike Knowles. Joining me, my beautiful co-host, the queen of collective action herself, Jess Gonzalez.
So nice. Thanks, Mike. Yes, if you can't already tell, we're without Josh today.
Oh, no. We have Josh.
Oh, we have Josh today. Oh, yeah. We have Josh today. But, yeah. So, Mike's going to do a little host moment. So if you'll humor us, we have a really great show for you all today. So
this is my payment. I get to host 2 shows a year. I'm burning them 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, we pay him in exposure.
Yeah, it's the best payment ever.
And Bad Latin is the new disembodied voice. Do you hear me? Is it really exciting? Okay.
You're really close to your mic right now, I want to tell you.
I know. He's like screaming.
Literally. Okay. How about here? Is it better here?
Yeah, it's a little better. It's cracking a bit. It
might be this tech rehearsal, y'all. We have a show to do, all right?
Thank you. Matt and I always here to support, always the absolute go. We got Rebels Comic already here. What's up?
Hey, what's up, friends? I see some regulars.
Forever suspicious user. Forever. I wish we could get rid of that. I wish we could like right click on the name and be like, this person is not here.
Yeah, like green light them. I agree. I think that would be great.
We got Balk Industries. Hello. Disembodied in our heart.
I think it's Buckle. I said Bach.
Oh, Bachel. That's right. There is an L there. I have the chat really small because I have to like be on the show and run the show, so all my things are like half size. So
yeah,
that doesn't.
I know it's hard. It's hard carrying the show on your shoulders. I appreciate everything.
You know what? I was given these shoulders for a reason, and I didn't use it for football, so now this is the reason. How was your weekend last week? We were without you. You were off doing just things.
Yeah, I was doing family things. It was good. I felt sad because I didn't get to join, and I feel like we had like exciting stuff to talk about, but I think it went well for y'all. So I'm excited to be back.
Did you go on an egg hunt? Did you do any like really tropish stuff?
Yeah, we did the egg hunt stuff. It was great, and the kids we put money in the eggs, so there was like 2 20s hidden.
Oh hell yeah!
We couldn't find the second 20, and I was like, oh my god, we better like help them find it, and then they found it. So
did you have like that one really hard spot, like the real challenge egg going on?
Yeah, so my brother-in-law was helping, and he's kind of a troll, so he like put the green ones in the foliage, and like you couldn't find them. So I was kind of like hinting like, hey, check all the foliage, like check all the bushes, and they finally found them, but he's such a jerk for that.
That means you have good kids though, because they're like, don't go play in the bushes, don't go play in the flowers.
Yeah. I think he was just trying to be like, I'm gonna raid boss these last 2 eggs and put them like way deep in the bush, so that it took him a while to find it. They were really tired at the end of the day, which was fun. You got to like, the kids were all playing with toys and they had a bunch of candy all day, so yeah, they just tired themselves out. But it was good, and I did miss the show though. I missed the vibe here.
Was it weird not being here for 2 weeks, like just being like, oh wow, my Sundays?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I have a Sunday.
You're like, I'm not standing up for once. I'm sitting down on Sunday. What's going on? Like,
yeah, I know. I'm sitting down right now too, but.
Wait, I have a question. Ollie, also, you can chime in on this.
Yeah.
What is like the quintessential like Easter holiday meal item? Because I feel like it's just a holdover from Christmas. It's just ham again, at least in my family.
I always hear it's ham, but like.
I don't like ham, so.
So we didn't talk about what I ate this Easter, but I was given 4 pounds of jelly beans.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I ate all the jelly beans. There are no more jelly beans.
In a
left.
week?
No, in 4 days actually.
What?
By Wednesday they were gone.
Bro.
I had a pound of jelly beans every day. That is the quintessential Easter food, by the way.
You have children. You can't kill yourself like this.
We just had burgers and hot dogs.
Oh, you went
what's healthier? I'll tell you what, like, there's no fat content in any of these jelly beans. It says 0 grams. I even have the jar. It says 0 grams of fat.
That's a fact. I mean, you're right. Bachel didn't realize Jess is a big fan of Vaporeon. 2 Vaporeon.
Oh, yeah, huge fan. I have Vaporeon on my arm. And then I have a shiny one.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I didn't know you had a Vaporeon tattoo.
I do.
Oh, that's sick as hell. Oh my god.
Yeah. I love my artist. She's awesome. She also did my really cool anime eyes. Yeah.
See, if I didn't have an
Whoa.
embarrassing but comfy pair of shorts right now, I would go to my shelf and show you that behind that Jolteon collector's box is a Vaporeon collector's box.
Oh yeah.
Some cute Vaporeon
Vaporeon
stuff.
best.
No,
Just
Umbreon.
fucking
Umbreon's
water
the best.
everywhere.
It's not even close. It's not even close. My
Thank
Umbreon
you.
can beat your Vaporeon up any day.
My Vaporeon was fucking strong. She had muddy water. She had leftovers. She was just like a tank.
Muddy Water's
also
OP.
did fucking
Everyone knows that. Muddy Water,
Yeah,
they're
but
like...
it doesn't hit every time. Okay, we're not getting into this discussion right now. We have a show to do.
You're right. You
we're
know what?
not doing Pokemon stuff right now.
We have another host here on the Weekly Stand Up, Mr. Josh Miller, who we are very carelessly forgetting. So I think we should start with him. He's at Coachella right now and has asked us to rate his fits for Coachella.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that first. Let's see if he dressed better than Hassan. That's like the real.
Oh, is that what
thing
we're
looking
doing?
for
Nice.
Here. Yeah.
Well,
so
look
this
at
is
that.
day one.
I love the glasses. It's giving me like the vibe of like I'm at Coachella.
Mm-hmm.
And the hat with the little like he's got like the flare up here. It's real like
Yeah, it's got a little flick up. You'll see in the other pictures. I
Yeah,
do like the
like,
sun
I love it.
necklace. It's kind of hidden right now in the shadows.
Oh
but...
yeah. I do see.
And the red's great against the white and the greens around him, you know?
Yeah.
So I do
and it
agree.
looks like the photo's like mid breeze, so you're really like I'm in the desert, and yeah, and then the open shirt.
Say that
it's a
again.
vibe. I'm in the desert.
Sounds like an outtake from like a shitty Aladdin game. Like
I'm very bad at mimicking Josh's voice, apparently.
what
I like
Yeah.
the glasses and like the bracelet like kind of match. He has like that little bit of like red on the like his like
Yeah.
wrist there to like bring it
Yeah.
all like tie it all together.
Oh yeah, is that the
I love the
Heineken?
hat.
What is that on the band? It's like I'm pretty sure it's a beer or like alcohol brand.
Name 5 beers from that band, Josh. I don't think you can. Sorry, you have to take it off.
Ooh. Oh, we have another shot from day one here. There we go. So you kind of see like the hat is a little
Look
more
at
curved.
Josh. Oh, hey, you can see the infamous Ferris wheel.
Why is it infamous? I'm not a Coachella person. I really
Everyone
don't know
takes a
about
photo
Coachella
there.
stuff.
It's like it's a huge photo op
Now, is the photo op thing from in the Ferris wheel or in front of the Ferris wheel?
in front of the Ferris wheel. It's like
Why
I'm at
not?
Coachella.
Why not
and
at
there's
the
a
top
big
of the Ferris wheel?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Ferris wheels, by the way. I went on the one at Disney's California Adventure, and it's terrifying because it moves. They like
Oh,
rock
the
back
swinging
and
one?
forth.
Well, they have swings and non-swings, I think, right? It's like every other.
Yeah, but my group wanted to get on the swinging one, and we all like died the whole time. And then you're stuck at the top for a while.
That's where you take your photos. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. Yeah. But I love the look. I love the multiple like necklace moment and then the open shirt so you can see all of the necklace. Is that a camelback? Does he have water? Then if he's a Hydro homie, he gets extra points.
I mean, he should. If you're not a Hydro homie at Coachella of all places, I'm pretty sure that's like.
Yeah, I
a
know.
huge
Like
L.
you're gonna pass out from heat exhaustion and dehydration.
Balko wants to know, does anyone go into it or is it just a picture prop? I'm starting to think it's just a picture prop
both.
based on this.
It's but actually I don't know. I've never been to Coachella. I'm not a big fan of festivals.
I'm
I
not
have
either, no.
tickets to see The Weeknd, but I like intimate shows. Because festivals seem rushed and like everyone's trying to get to a different set. It's just not
Festivals
fun.
to me feel more like a giant fraternity party or like a college tailgate, you know, for music.
We'll have to get Josh's like view of Coachella.
Oh, we will.
when he comes back.
We will.
And then we'll tell him how. Or I mean, if he watches this before that, but we'll tell him how harshly we judged him.
Okay, so
no, but he looks great though.
Day one fit, pass for day one.
Yeah, day one fit, good. It's a good like leaning in, but it's not like the highlight moment, you know.
Right. All right. So here's the problem. He didn't get us a day 2 picture. He forgot to take.
Oh.
Apparently, there's a 0 picture, so we have him getting ready on day 2, which is this.
Love that because it means that he was so like in his own vibe that he just was like, fuck taking a picture. He like got ready and then went to
appreciate
Coachella
that.
and had the best time.
Wait, we're having
So.
weekly stand-up con. Ollie, did you not tell us about this?
Yeah, so we're planning that for next year. We need 1,000 subs.
Oh,
and,
Oh, okay, good.
As long as it's not DashCon.
I have a standing agreement with my community that if we get 1,000 subs in like 1 month, I have to go and hold a community meetup event at the ruins of the Kid Nation set, which is just a ghost town.
Okay, that would actually be kind of cool though.
Do it.
Like,
I do like. Are those like rhinestones being applied to his face?
Yes, that is definitely
Okay.
Yeah, a rhinestone.
Very
right there,
Coachella.
Mom. And we have this
Very
video. I
Coachella.
don't know when this video is from, but we have. I think it's from the same night because
Oh
of the
my.
rhinestone.
I
I muted it for
love the
DMCA,
energy.
but
hey, there we go.
see, and you can't even
Love
like
it.
you can't even
Is
like
that a
dance.
trilby
'cause
on
there's
his?
so
Is
many
he
people.
wearing a trilby?
Hold on, let's see.
Love the trilby, by the way.
I think so. It's hard to tell because it's so dark, you know.
Yeah.
I want to say yes. If not, the intention is to make you think
I
it's a
mean,
trilby.
look at that face. That is a face of someone enjoying their fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, let's give this like, you know, I give it a 7, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hot in that crowd, and depending what way you're looking, like different smells. But it looks like a fun time. So.
And we have
Give 'em that.
today's fit coming in right before the
Oh
show.
yeah, this one's my favorite fit because I'm the one that always wears black. So to see Josh wear all black, I'm like, ooh, this is a vibe.
See,
They're all different. Shades
Josh,
of
I
it.
think, does a really good all black because like his tan doesn't make his skin darker. It kind of just
Yeah.
like tints it from like how white it is, and so it's like a white black contrast. Which I
No,
really
I love
enjoy.
it, and I love that he had to keep the guns out. You
Had
know
to
what I
get the
mean?
guns
He was
out,
just
purple
like, cut the
band.
shirt. Yeah. Can we enhance?
Yeah.
I think you know where I'm asking.
Yes, of course. What are those?
What are those? Sorry, I yelled in everyone's ears right now.
It's fine, I was
What
probably
are
louder.
those? Can we just like zoom? Yeah.
That's
like,
as far as we can get.
that is the stance. Also, those socks look grippy.
Yeah,
Look like some grippy socks.
And you're in the
Like, I'm
desert,
ready
right?
to
You're gonna
Spider-Man
sweat.
crawl.
That's gonna be like wet and grippy all at the same time, like frog feet. Like I don't know. I don't know if that's it,
Yeah.
Josh. I don't know.
Maybe he needs attraction. Who knows?
Maybe. But that's us rating Josh's Coachella fit. So
Yeah. Like
there we go.
everyone comes to.
Here's the question though. For all 3 of these outfits, did he spend more or less on those outfits than that one Hassan like whatever shirt that was?
less,
Like,
but more
okay.
embarrassing. Somehow more embarrassing.
No, I
Wait,
think he did a good job.
I was gonna say, yeah, like he like
No, he
even
looks
like
great.
diversified, right? Like he showed off pecs the first 2, and then like
Yeah.
the third he's got like showing off his arms.
Yeah.
No, and
New
also
area
like
focus.
Any questions about that?
the pecs were well shaped along with the necklaces and like the way it opened and stuff. I think it's a fit. It's a fit.
You heard it here, folks.
No.
Fit. Mike yelling
Approved.
nothing new? Yeah, nothing new. Exactly so. Exactly. It's my default, you know? It's my default.
Yeah.
But we have actual news to get into before we get into our panel on
We do.
living with
Very
ASD.
exciting news.
The first one. You want to just lead this one off? This is big for you, you know?
Yeah, this is huge. Freaking Raven QA won their NLRB hearing against Activision Blizzard. Yay. I sat in every day of those, of that hearing and watched all of the quality assurance testers get cross-examined by the lovely Reed Smith. And they freaking won. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Activision Blizzard lost against some quality assurance testers. So I would say quality assured, 1. And 2, they get to have an election. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be unanimous, but we'll see. They have union busted. So I'm not expecting them. And then especially with so Activision Blizzard responded that they were disappointed with the NLRB.
Yes.
Finding.
Hold on. I have the quote down here. If I can actually use Control F properly. There we go. Nope, there we go. While we respect the NLRB process, we are disappointed that a decision that could significantly impact the future of our entire studio will be made by fewer than 10% of our employees.
Okay. They better not touch my Ravens. I will actually come for blood if they start firing people because they're union.
So here,
but they have union busted already. So I'm not. I think they're going to do stupid stuff. I'm just curious to see what that stuff is.
So I'm curious here.
Yeah.
Are the votes being sent out to all employees or just
they
the
are
QA?
being sent out to all of quality assurance and
Okay.
Raven.
Because that's what I was confused about.
The hearing was that Raven QA was not an eligible unit to be a union.
Right. It was
but
too
actually,
small
funny
or not
enough,
relevant.
yeah. They tried to argue that all of Raven is one entity, which isn't true and even the NLRB ruled in the hearing that you don't pay QA enough for them to not be. You know what I mean? Like, even if you paid QA at the top senior level, it's still significantly lower than any of your other disciplines in the studio. And that's what the NLRB quoted a lot. And Activision, it was funny because I remember in the hearing, Activision was trying, like, they posted the salary band info for all their positions at Raven, and they tried to say we pay everyone low. And it just didn't work because
we don't fuck the QA. We fuck everyone, dude.
Yeah, that really was their argument. That really was.
Actually, honestly, I'm kind of just like, I can respect them on a level that they're willing to come out and say it. Like,
I mean,
to
they
a degree.
use their whole, they show their whole ass all the time, and it's surprising how it hasn't just been.
And they only half-ass the pay.
Senator sent Kotick a letter. Wild.
Yeah, this is a huge W though.
Now
we talked about last week, that, or it was here last week or 3 weeks ago, that Raven specifically was having issues in the sense of Activision was agreeing to start upscaling and full-timing employees now in QA in response to the labor action going on, but they were exempt due to this process. Or I think it was just generalized as process, because obviously the lawsuits and stuff are going on as well. Is this resolving right at this point and setting out the ballots going to automatically opt these people in? Or do they have to wait until this actual full election has resolved before they're able to get these benefits? If you know.
So I don't know the logistics of the benefits that are going forward. So when we organize under CWA, they teach you a lot about like what the boss is going to do, right? Because the boss wins when people aren't aware of the tactics they use to union bust, right? So CWA was pretty much, they're going to do honey and vinegar. They're going to try and be nice to you. Like, they gave them a raise to $18. Wow. Great job. And then they wanted to unionize. And so they just announced that they're bumping everybody up a little bit more, except for Raven Software, because obviously they have like an ongoing hearing, which is like the vinegar part. So you'll hear... like they sound like they're doing something good, but then it's like, sorry for the unionized employees, because you want to have bargaining power, you can't have this yet. But what they don't realize is all of those unionized employees can then strike and get even better wages. So that's what they're afraid of. They want to give you enough to make you like stop.
Right. Well, I mean, congratulations to everyone over there. You know, probably a rough time.
So happy for them.
You got the sun coming through now. Just keep marching forward, arms linked, you know, like a chain link fence. Any way you want to pop this off? Jess?
Oh yeah. So for Activision Blizzard, congrats. You just got Raven Software. If I had air horns, I'd be...
I wish you got this to me earlier, because I would have had an air... I could have did that.
Yeah, my lovely friend Kat, she made this meme, and I absolutely adore it. Are you pulling up an air raid? Yeah.
I am.
I love it. Tag your friends to totally Raven Software them.
There we go. Got it.
You just got Raven Software. And it happened on a Friday, which is like the same day that Raven started laying off QA testers when it first happened. So get on a Friday.
We have taken back the Fridays, baby.
We have taken the Fridays.
TGI Fridays party. Let's go. Yes. Oh man, that's awesome though. Good to see we're finally getting progress on that front.
Can't wait to announce their win.
There's a lot of winning today on the ABK side. We'll be getting some more. But before we get to that, man, it's not looking good for Ubisoft again for like the ninth time.
I know.
Because for like the ninth time, and I am just thinking off the top of my head, that could be wrong. It's probably wrong. Someone's trying to buy Ubisoft, probably. Although this time it seems like they're on board for it. So according to, let me source read Bloomberg, who blocks me from reading their articles because I read too many articles, so we're using Kotaku sourcing it. There's a few private equity firms looking to buy Ubisoft, and Ubisoft has actually been going through the process of a lot of internal review and changeovers, which were originally guised for the issues with sexual assault and harassment at their company, but more and more has like not been addressing that. So people have been like, why are you doing this and not doing the actual thing? And it looks like what they're trying to do is clean up books for a sale, potentially. I think they mentioned in the article here, the two people. One is Blackstone Inc., and then one's KKR, which at first I thought was BlackRock. And I'm like, holy shit, why would BlackRock buy this? So thank God it's not that. And I don't know who KKR and co are. But
I don't either.
Yeah, this is really interesting that
It is.
they worked so hard to fend off every other takeover. I'm also interested because Tencent helped them with the last stave of it, and I'm wondering if this news will rustle anything in Tencent to look for an acquisition prospect as well.
It's possible, but to be fair, Tencent owns like almost 90% of Riot Games, and they just announced a whole bunch of games, so I think they're okay.
Yeah, no, they're definitely okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think they're like scrambling. So it's funny because in like the films industry, everyone was trying to like bring down Netflix, right? They're like, oh, these streaming TVs and stuff, like we got to do it too. And now look, Netflix is like dropping. So everyone saw what I'm thinking is like everyone saw the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and they're like, what do they know that we don't? We need to like get in on this gaming market, blah blah blah.
Sony has Bungie, Sony has Sony Studios, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now. I do think though, from an interesting perspective, is that I agree with you that like Tencent's not hurting for money. They're not hurting for studio rep. But what this would give Tencent is two things. First of all, it would give them a great entry in, and not that I want Tencent necessarily buy them, I'm just discussing it. Tencent obviously has a lot of their own issues going on.
Yeah.
And they have Epic Games obviously as well to an extent. But these are all companies that work on the PC platform, whereas Ubisoft is very ubiquitously involved in the console market space, which is a huge, huge portion. And also importantly, Ubisoft has Ubisoft Studios, their film department as well, which has been going pretty strong with their last couple productions. What's the guy's name? The guy from Always Sunny, he has a show with them that's been going on. I think it's like 3 or 4 seasons now. I have a friend that's like obsessed with it. But yeah, so that's a huge like pick up as well, not just the gaming side and the IP side of Ubisoft,
yeah, definitely.
but they have that really good diversity of the company.
Yeah.
And I'm just worried though, you know, like who gets it? Because I don't want a firm, I don't want Blackstone or KKR to get it, like, because that's always like, fuck, here we go again for all the employees, you know, like.
Yeah, definitely. And it sucks because the employees already kind of feel like they're not being heard from their leadership.
Where's my Beyond Good and Evil 2, by the way? I'm still waiting. If this doesn't happen, I'm gonna be a sad
Hopefully
boy.
it's a good acquisition and the employees are actually given like someone to actually hear them.
I think
and implement good changes.
Yeah, yeah, it's also really annoying because obviously, you know, there's been the numerous issues of assault and harassment and you know, pay gaps here at Ubisoft, and that just means that none of this is being addressed if they're trying to offload it. Because they don't care. They don't have to care about addressing them because they don't want to own the company anymore.
It's wild. Like, with everything that's going on in ABK and how frustrating that is for people that work at Activision Blizzard, imagine in tandem Ubisoft, who's going through the same exact thing, but nobody's paying it as much attention. And, you know, we're actually getting some things from the ABK movement, and I just really wish that we could do the same thing for Ubisoft, but I am so limited in my ability to, like, you know what I mean, to bridge that. I just hope that the new acquisition at least, you know, sparks some committees to champion that change and like, hey, we're gonna change this company because it's time.
Yeah,
so hopefully they can do some good with that. And yeah, like you mentioned, like the console part of it's going to be interesting to see. I saw in the chat someone said explains why they're some of the games are coming to Game Pass, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so. That's very awesome. Yeah, I think it's really gonna come down to who gets them, right? Like, even if someone like Tencent got them, I would at least feel like, especially coming off of Riot, having to fix their own studio, right? I would feel to some degree that a lot of good change could come down the line. But I have no expectation that if any of these just like financial firms and holdings companies get a hold of it, that anything of relevance is gonna happen. And I mean, one of the biggest signs too is that, as the article talks about, that like the reason they staved up before is it's always been like a family company. But there's no successors left in the family at this company. Every one of the sons has exited the industry. You know, they hold shares of the company, but they do not actively work there anymore. And so, like, there isn't really a reason and a pull anymore. And that just sucks because, like, man, Ubisoft had it all. Like, in the mid, like, 360 PS3 era, Ubisoft was the fucking king.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really sad. Like, it's almost like, you know, you let these companies go on long enough, they start to become these, like, toxic corporate culture. Or, I don't know. I don't know what it is, really. I think it could just be, like, the rock starification of devs, and then it gets to their head, and they don't realize how much power and influence they have, and then they use it to gain things, which isn't always a good idea.
Yeah, it's not great. Also, welcome, hello, 1957. Thank you for slamming that follow
Hey.
button and joining us here. Rebel Comic Notes
Thanks for joining.
goes, I'm happy to see the labor movement is sweeping through other companies too. It's long past time that things change. Yeah, and I'm also curious
Yeah.
on the Ubisoft side, because they have so many different studios in multiple countries, right? And none of them really
Right.
based solely here in America. It's mostly like Canada and France,
Yeah.
I'm interested, like, where it gets messy in terms of, like, corporate structure
True.
change because of their different labor laws, which you would assume are
Yeah.
better, especially in France.
Right.
Like, those motherfuckers know how to do collective action better than anyone else.
Man, I wish we could like throw Bobby Kotick into a dumpster. Like all collectively come together and just like throw Bobby Kotick into a dumpster because I feel like the French would respect the shit out of that.
I wish we could all collectively just put on, like, the safety vests that the French wear and just march outside his house. But, like, it's all of Los
Yeah.
Angeles, so, like, you can't drive anywhere because everyone's in the street.
True. Also,
So, speaking of France, excuse me. Speaking of France, I'd like to congratulate the French people for not electing a fascist.
yes. Oh my god, I
Yes.
just saw the news today.
We love
saw the news today.
anti-fascism.
We did it! Yay!
We did it. We beat fascism.
We did it. We, the Americans of Weekly Stand-Up, we did it.
We did it. Yeah, classic Americans taking credit for things they didn't do.
Oh, man.
Well,
Speaking
actually, if it wasn't for America, there would not have been a French Revolution, and thus no democracy that would eventually
Yeah.
take. Okay, I'll just stop. It's
Wait.
fine.
Before we stop and switch context,
Yeah.
did you know that the wealth inequality surpasses that of the French Resolution? Or resolution?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Revolution.
Does not surprise me at all. One bit.
So,
I mean, yeah, I'm not shocked at all by
Yeah.
that.
Yo,
pretends to be
Ollie,
shocked.
are you shocked by that, Ollie? No.
No, I'm not shocked by that. What?
No, no,
is your
Ollie,
microphone
Ollie.
inside of your mouth?
Wait, that's my name. What do you mean?
No, Ollie with an O.
Well,
My
no,
boy,
that-
my boy back here.
Oh, Ollie.
My boy back here.
Yeah. That's how you say Ali.
I know, but I'm not addressing you. I'm addressing
I'm
my
so
boy
confused.
Ollie.
You speak when you're
See
spoken to.
see this yellow little
Disembodied voice.
see this yellow
Yeah.
munchkin of a marshmallow back here in his
Yeah,
dino
yeah.
suit. All right, that's Ollie, like the skateboard move.
Okay.
Oh.
All
I
right.
like it.
So this is really can that one be like Ali 2 and that can be Ali
No,
1?
no, absolutely not.
Can it be Ali A and then that could be like Ali. Okay.
No.
We'll call you Aoli if you like.
Like the sauce? I
Yeah.
don't know. Okay, so next topic.
Also,
All right,
thank you so much,
thanks,
Celluxies,
Aioli.
for following us. Who'll be joining us later for our ASD panel coming up. Next topic.
Next
Segue.
topic. This
We
is a
have to
funny
do it.
one that got added in. I didn't think we were going to cover anything with the names Kim Kardashian and Roblox.
Well, I figured, forcing their names into your mouth would result in some funny responses from you, because I'm sure you have opinions on the Kardashian family. Kim Kardashian threatens to Roblox over fake sex tape game. TLDR, those ads you've seen on every sketchy site you've been on the internet for the last 15 years, talking about a new Kardashian sex tape. They basically made a whole Roblox world that's that ad, and her son saw it.
Oh.
And she got really, really mad.
Oh,
really
yeah.
mad.
I saw the clip. Saint like walked over with the iPod and was like, haha, mommy's crying face. And it was her crying face.
Yeah.
And the tag was like,
Wait,
unreleased footage.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That's
no,
Yeah.
it's really traumatizing for a child.
It was really messed up.
Yeah.
It was really messed up. And like, as controversial as the Kardashians are, that's messed up.
Yeah, no one
Also-
deserves that. But I will say,
Yeah.
I've been on the internet my entire young adult life through 25 now. And I've seen the fake Kim Kardashian ads for sex tapes all over the internet. So I don't know
Yeah.
why she's this shocked. I mean, it's traumatizing for your child to see that in a video game. Like, that's
Yeah.
obviously like, what the
100%.
fuck here? But I feel like the reaction is like she's never seen one, and like my question is just like, how do you not know this is a thing everywhere?
Okay.
On every site.
So
Yeah.
I have a decade on you, and I'm just gonna say, like, I think this might be like more Zoom and less millennial, because like I didn't realize this was a thing whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm hearing of it like at
Oh
all.
yeah, you go on like any
It's
like
probably
free
shocking
game
for her.
site as a kid,
Oh,
like
yeah.
anything that isn't like obviously if it's like Cartoon Network, the NBC, any like corporate site, it's not on there.
Yeah.
If you're on any like digital website where they play any fucking SEO ad possible, there's an ad for Kim Kardashian sex tape, like or
Right.
Kim Kardashian
Oh,
leaked
that's
footage.
crazy.
You know, it's on there.
Yeah, and it's super
It's all
weird
fake,
that it
but-
would be in a Roblox world. Like, hello, regulate Roblox.
Yeah.
Like, I've can I just say I've never heard anything positive
No,
come with Roblox.
no,
I
it's the
I just-
anti-Minecraft.
literally okay. So I purchased. This is a fucking random story. I purchased a pizza off of like a sketchy website. Okay, I was
Okay.
like, oh, I'm gonna go to my local pizza place.
Yeah.
And I used their website to buy the pizza instead of like DoorDash or something. And it seemed like, I don't know what happened. Maybe their kid was working there that day, got my info. I had like hundreds of dollars charged to Roblox.
What?
Hundreds of
Yo.
dollars, like $800 in Roblox. money.
What? Wait,
That's
so
ridiculous.
And I was like, okay, one, I'm never using that pizza place again. I'm never going there. And two, I was just like, I had to call my bank and be like, hi, I don't play Roblox. Can you please investigate this? So they like obviously did all the things that they do when they open a claim. But it was just, I've never had a good experience involved with Roblox.
So it's like a
So,
small business, like pizza place.
And can I actually interject here? This is important. If you want to order pizza from a small business and do it safely, there's a website called slicelife.com, and it's better than DoorDash. It's better than Grubhub. It is the premier support your local business
Nice.
pizza website. So
That's
Yeah.
actually good to know. I love pizza. I love
Yeah, I just think like some of the places they do like low level security encryption checkouts.
That's what
and
I was gonna
so-
say. I'm wondering if they like
Yeah.
just slacked and someone knew it.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. So I mean,
Oh, Buckle says, fun fact, Mad Lad made it maybe spend $1,000 on Roblox machine.
wow.
Is this true? Is this fact?
technically speaking, he asked me to show him how to spend his $1,000 on a machine that can play Roblox. But we all have a machine, technically speaking, that can play Roblox.
Interesting.
Even Samsung refrigerators can play Roblox.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah, it's pretty
Probably.
much it's like a tablet attached to a refrigerator. And also, can I just say, like, horrible idea? Like, imagine debugging a refrigerator.
Like, can you just imagine, like, opening, like part of like the game mechanic involves opening and closing the doors, right?
It's like, oh, this refrigerator is C++. I don't know how to interact with this one.
Yeah, it's like you need energy. Eat carrots.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Still supports Slice. Slice is amazing and takes all my money.
Oh, we
Hopefully
should get
not like
sponsored by
Roblox took
Slice.
Jess's money. Oh, I want a pizza sponsorship. I want it so bad. I'm the good Papa John, and I want to steal his catchphrase of I like pizza and I like people, or people and pizza. If it's one way around, that's me. I like people and I like pizza. It's a
But
very
no people pizza.
very simple. No pizza's made of people. I saw a TikTok the other day where it was like news stories from the metaverse. Sorry, my headphones are there. You go.
Oh my
News
God.
stories from the metaverse, and it was like local person opens pizza chain with ethically sourced food, reveals the pizza's made of babies.
Oh my God.
But it's like
What
it's all
is
fake.
wrong with
It's all
people?
like it's all
Yeah,
fake.
yeah.
It's all in I think like what's the Steam Avatar game?
VR chat.
VR chat. Yeah, I think it was all in VR chat or
Oh,
like
and
Gmod.
VR chat. I've had some. VR chat is a weird pit
Oh,
place.
we should have a whole deep dive on VR chat. I feel
As
like.
weird
Oh
as
my God, we should.
as weird as the internet is, I feel like VR chat is like the internet, but in this weird chaos energy where like everyone's competing for attention.
But
at
there's
the
also
same
like
exact time.
positive chaos energy when it comes to like
Yeah.
LGBTQ and disabled people in VR chat as well.
Oh
So-
yeah, I love like the social aspect of it. I think it's really cool, and I love the like euphoric things it does for like my trans friends as well. But I just think it's weird because people can do creative things in VR chat. Like I had to turn off some like extra like particle stuff because people were creating avatars that were so insane that it just took up the whole screen. So I would have to like
Jesus.
turn off certain. Yeah,
Mm.
wild. The internet was a mistake.
Well, you know what was a mistake? When Amy Hennig got booted from a Star Wars project.
Agreed.
But we are rectifying that,
Nice
baby, because she's
segue.
back. She's back and better than ever at
She's
Skydance's new media conglomerate or spinoff, however you want to. I don't know what it officially is, but she's back. She's on Star
Nothing but
Wars.
dubs.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious though. The new Skydance New Media is the division. It's Skydance film and theatrical studios, a little gaming and new media spinoff they're doing. They're also working on a Marvel project. So these are two like huge Disney franchises coming out from here. And I'm just really curious like what the scope of this is going to be, because they've said before their mission is to like blend the gaming sphere to like non-gamers as well. So I'm interested in seeing if it's like closer to a traditional game or closer to something like Star Wars VR, if that makes, not like as a VR game,
cool.
but in terms of like, it's like more of like an experience and not like a video game.
Like an interactive. That'd be so cool.
That would be really cool. Like the Netflix interactive stuff they have right now, but it's Star Wars. Like,
See, your idea sounds cooler. My pea brain was like, oh my god, imagine like an Avengers Endgame where Donald Duck kills like Snoke or something.
You're talking about Kingdom Hearts. That's you're describing Kingdom Hearts 4.
But not Snoke. Now we have Star Wars.
Kingdom
right?
Hearts
we
4.
gotta get creative with it.
Kingdom Hearts 4 is confirmed, Jess. And if there's
Okay.
no
And,
Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts 4, I'm gonna have
Then
some problems.
It needs to be in VR. Can I just?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, speaking of which, Soul Calibur 4, by the way, the Star Wars thing, like what was that?
What do you mean?
You never played Soul Calibur 4? They had
never
Yoda.
No, but what do you mean?
They had Darth
What do you
Vader?
mean? What was that? It was cool.
Like, but what was that? No, like, does that mean that Soul Calibur is going to have a crossover with Disney now?
No,
They have like Mickey Mouse.
that was on
like,
the GameCube.
Getting...
That was
no,
Lucasfilm.
it wasn't. That was PS4 and Xbox.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Wasn't the
that's Soul
GameCube
Calibur
one
4.
that had? Hold on.
Oh my, no, that was
Look it
Zelda.
up.
That was Zelda. Wow, this makes me feel old. Like I remember getting the thing.
But it's
Soul
it's
Calibur 4,
360. It's 360, 2008.
So it was on Xbox and it was also on PS4.
Right, but this is
Nice.
pre-Disney. This is pre-Disney.
Look at
This
that.
is
Oh.
Lucas.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
I see what you mean.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
I felt like that was like bonded together forever. Okay, fair enough. That's a good point.
I
Kinda cool if they had
Wow.
Mickey Mouse,
I
though.
love the
Same.
fact that they like go all in on like
Yeah.
selling Soul Calibur to people. Who are like, yeah, we'll pay the license fees for Vader and Yoda. Yeah, we'll pay the license fee for Link. Like, yeah, no problem.
Hell
That's pretty
yeah.
ridiculous.
That's how you do it, not the EA way.
Not what's the EA way? Wait, what's the EA way?
The EA way is like, here's an entire game that costed $85. By the way, if you want Darth Vader, you need
Oh.
to pay $100.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm so excited for this. People don't know Amy Hennig is like Hennig, sorry, legendary member of the games
Legend, yeah.
industry. Uncharted,
Great.
right, was her main franchise she's been on
Mhm.
over at Naughty Dog for a while, and like
Yep.
her experience and influence in those games cannot be I mean, it has been understated, and it should not be
Yeah.
understated. And so you should expect nothing but great things from this project, in my opinion. There
very
is no reason
exciting.
not to have high expectations.
High hopes.
I feel like Amy Hennig would be an interesting person to have you sit down with, Jez. I feel like just from seeing other interviews or panels with her, I think it would be an interesting dynamic to see you two have a conversation.
Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's weird when people like want to unleash me on people who I've never met before, and I'm like, I don't know. Let's just talk about stuff I like, and
I'll just
sometimes
keep
I get real
talking
passionate about it.
here.
Yeah, I'm talking here. We mentioned pizza, so.
Yeah, we got the gabagools.
And funny enough, the pizza that I ordered was like a deep dish pizza. It was like a Chicago style.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I get. That's what I get for trying to find deep dish pizza in Lake Elsinore, California, which
Yeah.
is nowhere.
I've only found one good pizza place out here, or like better than average pizza place, and it's a place in Santa Monica called Joe's. And it makes like really like authentic Jersey, New York pizza. Like I swear to God, it's like so good.
The thin pizza.
It's
Brooklyn
crunchy,
style.
dude.
You fold it in half.
It's the sauce though. It's the sauce more than anything they really get there, and it's like
They call it gravy.
so good. While we're on Italian jokes, new Magic Gathering set comes out or pre-releases this weekend, and the whole theme is crime families, and I pulled the crime family boss from my family. So when I casted him, I just played like Italian mom music and was like, "You come onto
Nice.
this board state and you
Nice.
disrespect me like this," and just like was just blasting
Hey, that's pretty
Italian
good.
music.
Yeah.
I'm Italian. It better be good. My dad grew up next to the Philly mob. Like, it better be good.
Oh shit! Yeah,
He
my
wasn't
dad
in the
grew up
Philly mob. I want to make that
in
clear. He was Irish.
Sicily. I'm pretty sure my dad's family was in some way involved. Because like they're from the capital of Sicily, like the island.
Let
They're
me
from
just tell
Palermo.
you, the culture. I could say this 'cause I'm Italian. All Italians are a mob.
Yeah.
All
Oh my
Italian
God.
being Italian is being in a mob. It's
You
the
think
biggest mob in the
I'm
world.
Interesting to be in a room with. My father is the loudest and will compete with you for the loudest person in the room.
Oh.
It's insane. Like sometimes when I go to family stuff, I have to leave after a couple hours because I'm just like my head is throbbing at like, oh my God, there's so much noise happening right now.
So fun fact. So my mom's Italian and my dad's
Mhm.
Irish. Like they're their family, like mainly. So like those coming together are already big, right? But then my dad's Irish family split. My cousin is married to the son of the last mob boss of Philly.
Nice.
And so they'll come over to the parties sometimes, and it's the old Italian mob against
Love
like
it.
Catholic Irish people screaming at each other or during sports games. It's like, what the
I
fuck?
love it.
And I didn't realize
Yeah.
this song was like a young adult. It's like everyone else knows, and I'm just a child. Like, oh yeah, I love so and so here, and it's like, nah, he's a DeAndre. You gotta respect, It's like, what?
I will say growing up, like when my dad said my name, it was so scary to me for some reason. Just
Really?
because he's so like,
Can you
he
like
has
how
like
do
a
you say
loud
it?
voice, and he's foreign, like he's from Sicily, so he's like Jessica, and I'm like, what did I do? You
Oh, like
know,
really
I'm
like
always thinking like I'm in trouble.
Jessica, like really like
Yeah,
guttural and
yeah.
kind of like low.
Yeah, that's why when you asked me at the top of the show before we started, you're like, should I call you Jess or Jessica? I'm like, call me Jessica or Jess, because Jessica, it makes me feel like I'm in trouble.
Well, whenever you go live on this show, we're gonna do something wrong, so that lines up.
Oh, that's fair. I
Yeah.
like the setting expectations at the top of the show. I think that's
Speaking of
important.
people that need respect, no, it's not the panel. It's the wonderful people at Starbucks, as Starbucks
Yeah.
in Virginia, in Leesburg, gets a 24-1 vote for their union. Congratulations.
It really is important.
We said it! Good for us.
Look at that.
Aw.
Okay, I'm going back to Starbucks.
Yeah, I gotta go to work. Bye.
Me too. I'm gonna.
So I was just in that parking lot trying to get a unionized Starbucks coffee, and I couldn't do it. There's just too many customers.
But that's
So
good.
my mission-
Support.
I
Yeah,
love
no,
when
it's great.
Yeah, when they announce they unionize, people are like they order stuff and like the names are like union supporter this, and like it's really sweet to see like we want unions.
This is great. Is this the third or fourth Starbucks now?
Oh, there's so
there's
many
20.
Starbucks.
I
Yeah,
think
there's
we're in
so
like
many.
the 30s now.
The first
Oh,
in
is it
Virginia, I
grown
believe.
faster than I think? Okay, never mind. I just
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
just
it
keep
is
track by what we
spreading.
talk about on the show. So
Yeah. It's totally spreading. Like it's wild.
Me-
The whole
me-
labor
Yeah.
movement.
yeah, me and Josh were talking about it last week, where it's like all about like just getting to the tipping points. Like we just need to make it more economically like correct or beneficial for them to just say yes than fight it anymore.
Yeah.
And if it's going that fast, I don't think it's too long until corporate's like it's not beneficial
Yeah.
for us to keep fighting this.
And I mean, they just rehired their old CEO who's super anti-union, and like
We'll see how
they're
that
really
goes.
trying. Yeah, they're trying.
Actually, this reminds me, the NLRB is actually taking up cases to rehire some of the Starbucks employees that
Really?
were-
Good.
Oh,
They
Was that
should.
Was that something that we were? I just realized that could have been a segment we were going to transition to.
No, can you find me that article?
no?
No, we
Okay.
can talk about it if you find an
Yeah.
article.
No, we should. Okay, yeah. No, so
Articles,
that's
yeah,
actually a
thank
thing.
Yeah. Well, we can go on to our
Um,
next one while you look for that, and we'll come back to this.
Well, not just that though. I also want to say next week I will have my cup of unionized Starbucks.
There we
coffee
go.
to show on stream.
Yeah.
This is my quest.
Will it be in the
I
love
cup or
that.
will it be in the giant like container?
Support your
Uh,
local unionized
oh my-
labor.
God, what if I could? No, I'm gonna get a cup and the thing. I might get a whole thing of it though.
What if you
I've been dis-
bought a branding iron that like was like somehow tied to their union, and you had them brand your big coffee like holder or your bowl?
Grade it.
I'm really glad that I was gonna engrave the fire hydrant thing I have and not like something else. I was like really confused. Like, what do we need a brand for? What
Oh,
are we gonna
yeah.
do?
Well, you can like
Um,
laser engrave your
That's
water
true.
thing.
Branding's
makes
just
more
so more
sense.
visually cool though. You get the contact of like the hiss and the smoke coming off. A little bit of melting going around it. So good. Tell me,
No.
dude, blacksmith TikTok? Oh my god. That's a TikTok
Okay,
I love
I
getting
actually have seen some of that TikTok, and it is very satisfying. I will say.
Oh, here we go. Here's that. Thank you, Ollie. Let me get this up. Bang, bang, bang. From Times, Starbucks sued by U.S. Labor Board over retaliation claims. U.S. officials are asking federal court to force Starbucks to reinstate a group of activists, escalating the legal battle over the company's response to union campaign sweeping through stores. Love that. Amazing.
Amazing. You love to see it.
Yeah,
You love to see
NLRB just
employers
winning.
Get held accountable. I know, right? Like dubs, fat dubs.
Can
They're
we
like,
set
"Here,
pizza?"
Raven, have your election.
All right, everyone, find your local NLRB committee. Go to slice.com or whatever Matt and I linked in the chat earlier and send them a local pizza. Do it.
Don't buy dish pizza from that one place in like Elsinore though, because they will steal your money and use it to buy Roblox bucks.
I'm pretty sure Roblox bucks works like almost like crypto too. I think you can like resell them in game. So that's probably why.
Oh my god.
I know they were talking
Hot
about it at
commodity.
some point that they were like they were looking at their currency as like a crypto but within its own marketplace where you could like WoW Gold basically. Where like, you know, people used to sell WoW Gold.
This is just like a capitalism thing. Every company ever wants to create their own ecosystem that thrives off of itself, so you can never get out. Hi, I've used Apple products for like several years, and I can't get away from them.
Gotta hold on.
I have everything Apple.
Gotta get on the Google Pixel train, baby. Let's
I
go.
know.
And you can get it right from Google, which would sound worse in this condition, but it's actually better because it unties you from the carrier. And you only pay for data you want to use, and you can bounce off any service you want.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. Like, obviously, like, big
but
corporations,
I
bad.
have blue text bubbles, Mike, so don't talk to me.
You know, the green machine, man. I'm Irish. I'm all embracing green. See, Rebel Comic Nerd. I have Google Pixel too. It's so good. It's so
I know.
good.
I heard it takes really good photos too.
Oh, the cameras
It
are great.
does.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good. Speaking of amazing, we have this came out
Love the
this
segues.
morning. Like, as we were getting ready to do the show, getting everything together.
Oh my god, yeah, this was breaking. Like I posted it in our team chat and was like, we must talk about this because
Yeah, you take it. This is right up your alley.
yeah. So Activision Blizzard is adding 2 women to its board, which is something they said they couldn't do because of the Microsoft acquisition in time, because like they were being sued for like discrimination, and they were like, you have to hire a woman to the board. Anyway, so they announced that they're doing that, and in that, I read that Casey Wasserman decided that he was not going to stand for re-election. And if you don't know who Casey Wasserman is, he is part of like the LA County. I forget what his role is, but he's like within LA County. Also, if you remember the stuff that came out with Gavin Newsom interfering with the DFEH lawsuit, Gavin Newsom is the governor of California. So just a lot of corruption happening, and I'm pretty sure that's part of why Casey wanted to step down and not re-elect. Also, fun fact, did you know Casey Wasserman was in the flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein's private plane, the Lolita Express?
I didn't know that. Also, he's the chairman of the 28 Olympics, or 2024, 28 now because of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's the one making Inglewood super expensive. That's great.
So it's like, is he choosing to stand down because he's like doing the honorable thing, or is it because he's being investigated by the FBI, or is it because
And it doesn't have to be the FBI, but any reason isn't the first thing. There's no fucking shot. Do you step down when also nothing's happened? Like, yes, we have good movement on the ABK stuff, and that's to be celebrated, and it's wonderful. In reality, no one's actually being held accountable. So if no one's actually being held accountable, and you didn't have a moral conscious objection before, why would you have one now? You know, that doesn't make any. And, and you didn't make a statement about it. Like, at least maybe they made a statement about it when this happened. They're like, hey, I'm stepping down because of this. That's one thing, right? But that's not what's happening.
I think part of it too is because like myself and a couple other people, there's some campaigns right now on Twitter that are like, no Olympics LA, and like they're trying really hard to hold LA accountable for the issues that are going on in the city and like not want to hold, you know, the Olympics here.
It's a really messy
it was just interesting because we started calling out Casey Wasserman a lot, and now he's like announcing his departure, so maybe he just wants to remove himself.
You did this.
Myself and a couple of other activists. Like, I'm not going to take credit for Casey Wasserman stepping down, but I will say every time I've seen Casey Wasserman on my timeline, I've always said, hey, did you know Casey Wasserman is on the board of directors of Activision Blizzard? Also, fun fact, he was on the Lolita Express.
The collective action, you, not you, Jessica Gonzalez.
Yeah, like not me
Sorry,
as an entity,
Jessica.
like going, like I'm dragging Casey Wasserman out of the board of directors. No, that didn't happen. As much as I would love to do that.
No, I
I
don't know
want to
why.
be like a Dog the Bounty Hunter, but like for shitty like executives. I want people to be afraid of me. Like, oh my God. Like, it's always so funny because on LinkedIn, it tells you who looks at your profile. So if like an abuser or someone, like someone tells me who they are in the Whisper network, I go and look them up on LinkedIn and I'm like, ooh, I hope they see my name and they're scared.
I hope there's their own Whisper network for shitty people that are like,
yeah.
fuck,
They're
watch
like,
out for
"Ooh."
her.
Yeah, she's like, oh, she gonna hold me accountable for shit I did.
The first thought I have before the Bounty Hunter thing, which is absolutely amazing, is like a WWE thing where like he's in the ring as like a wrestler, and then you come out, but instead of with a chair, it's with Bobby Kotick, and you smack him across the face with Bobby Kotick like he's a chair.
Oh man,
A little 2-for-1 action.
that would be fun. Yeah, and then I would love the opportunity to also beat Vince McMahon. So like the three of them talking, and then I just come out with like, and just whoop ass. That would be great.
you wrestle Bobby Kotick in the ABK parking lot?
I would.
he was
I
down
would
for
fist
it?
fight Bobby Kotick, and I would fight Dirty because I know he probably does. So I'd pull his hair and shit.
I think we know how to resolve the disputes. I think we found it, folks.
Yeah, Makora, let's go.
Well, that's it for our news. Coming up, we're going to be transitioning to a little BRB screen for a few
Also,
minutes. Oh, yep. What's
Just
up?
a legal disclaimer. I don't fight people. I don't threaten people.
Right.
Um,
Everything is comedy.
This show, yeah, weekly stand-up comedy.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's why it's there. That's definitely why we named it this.
I'm definitely not violent. I'm baby. I
No.
look scary, but I'm actually baby.
I
So
mean,
be nice
just
to me
your
or I'll
pillow
cry.
says it all. Your pillow says it all.
Yeah. Fuck around and find
Yeah,
out.
nothing violent about that.
No.
Come on, you'd have to be no sane
Hey.
individual would read that and think they were under threat.
Activision Blizzard fucked around and they are finding out.
They
though,
are
so.
they are finding out in a
Yeah.
very
First from
very
the
big way.
NLRB. Let's hope from the DFEH. Let's go. I'm like every time I learn another entity is suing Activision Blizzard, I'm like, let's fucking go. I want to like put a like a Deadpool of like companies that are gonna sue Activision Blizzard, and then just
You should send
Pop
like
'em on
Christmas cards to every company that like sues Activision Blizzard.
I love that.
CWA Christmas cards.
Oh my god.
Thanks for being an ally. Your friend at CWA.
Hang in there.
Guys, we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna have the Kevin FM and
Very excited for our
Um,
guests.
oh god, I'm blanking hard. Cell. Cell. God dang it, I'm bad. I'm awful.
Thank
you.
Oh, wow.
Wow, see, not that easy. Not that easy.
You cut me off. I was done. Celluxies.
Celluxies. Joining us for
Galaxies.
Joining
Like
us for a
galaxies, thank you.
discussion on living with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, as an adult in the workplace, all that good stuff coming up next in about 3 to 5 minutes. Don't go away.
Yeah, hang in there.
Hello and welcome back to the weekly stand-up discussion on ASD for Autism Acceptance Month. Joining me and Jess are two wonderful guests, the Kevin FM and Celluxies, a name I can definitely pronounce. I just actually forgot the name. Celluxies.
Celluxies. Yeah.
Am I not saying it right? Wait, am I not saying it right?
No, you said you like emphasized. It was
Emphasize, yeah.
Wait, go through it with me. I want to get this right.
You either add an extra syllable or you emphasize the wrong one. It's so you know the word galaxies?
Galaxies.
It's the same thing. Celluxies.
Celluxies.
Correct.
Okay.
I swear,
Cool.
I swear to God, I didn't hear a difference in my own head. I am sorry though.
Aw.
So sorry about that. Thank you both for
Okay.
joining us.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you both.
so happy to be here. I'm excited.
Thanks for having me here. This is going to be cool.
Yeah, this should be a fun little
Agree.
discussion. Basically, some of the main topics we're going to be going over, for those in chat, we're going to be going over a lot of what it's like living as an adult on the autism spectrum, which isn't discussed nearly enough, especially for how many people get through childhood undiagnosed. What it's like in the workplace, especially, obviously, we're a show that talks about workplace workers' rights and labor movements, so I think it's important to discuss experiences there, as well as accommodations, but it's going to be pretty free-flowing otherwise. We're going to be going back and forth wherever the conversation takes us, and if you have any questions in chat, make sure to drop them. We're all pretty open here, I feel like, from everyone's background talking about that stuff. Just as the only neurodivergent person here, or, you know, not ASD at least, sorry, that's the wrong term, will also be able to give some good insight. I'm really excited to see what comes about between Jess's like collective action and labor background and Kevin's background in law specifically. I think it'll be really, really interesting. But to start out, I guess we'll just all introduce ourselves for those of us on ASD. I'll start. My name is Mike. I was diagnosed on the autism spectrum with originally what used to be called Asperger's, which is no longer an actual term that is used, or at least not used by professionals anymore. I wasn't diagnosed until I was in 10th grade. I was originally diagnosed with ADD. So I was originally diagnosed as being just high IQ in 2nd grade, which is great. This is like the best background story that happens to so many people. 2nd grade, you're like, oh, high IQ, put him in the advanced program. And then you're like, oh, he's so smart. He's so good. And he's such a good boy. And then you get to like 6th grade and they're like, he has ADD. And it's, or no, 5th grade, like, oh, he has ADD. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm still smart, right? Yeah, like, yes, you're still a very smart boy. I'm like, okay, awesome. Here's some medicine you don't want. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then you get the
It's
7th
medicine
grade.
that you'll forget to take because memory loss is one of the symptoms.
So coming up, 7th grade comes, and they're like, oh, it's not ADD. None of that's working. It's ADHD. Here's new medicine. I don't remember any of 7th grade. I have no memories. I remember 8th grade, they started weaning me off. Or it was either end of 7th grade or the start of 8th grade. They started weaning me off. Because like, oh, he had a good year of behavior. And by that, they mean like, I was a zombie and didn't say or do anything. And I remember walking up to one of my childhood friends and talking to them in the hallway. And he was giving me this weird look. And even for like an autistic person, I'm like, I can read something's wrong with you right now. And so I'm like, hey, you all good? Like, what's going on? He's like, no, we haven't talked in like a year. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
And then I realized like what happened last year, and I couldn't like recall things. And like, I'm pretty sure I just like woke up. I quit like every sport. I used to do every sport. I quit every sport. Somehow stayed in drama club, which saved my life. And I just woke up, went to school, came home, ate dinner, did my homework. Sorry, came home, took a nap, woke up, ate dinner, did my homework, went to bed. That's all I did every single day, apparently, according to my parents and according to what I can remember. And then I get off, and I'm even
dissociation there for a year.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Anyway.
My grades dropped. I started going from like straight A's to like C+, B-, which isn't bad, but like, you know, for like being like the advanced kids in 2nd grade is like, that's like bad, you know, in that world. And just being like, cool, I'm very lost, I'm very misunderstood, and I don't know what's going on. And then I still remember the day I got diagnosed properly, where my mom was like threatening to take me to I forget if she wasn't a psychiatrist. I think she was a counselor. But she had a degree, but she wasn't like working in that field specifically as a psychiatrist. And they took me there, and she had to threaten to like ground me to go there, because I was like, I hate going to all these doctors. They're always wrong. They don't know what I'm talking about. They challenge me on everything that I'm saying is happening. So no, like, I don't want to do this. She's like, well, I'm going to ground you for everything, which is a great tactic in hindsight, but also awful. And I remember just being like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to give this woman anything at all. She's going to ask me a question, and I'm just not going to answer. So I do that for a bit, and she's great. She ended up being my long-term, like, behavioral person I worked with and mental person. And she's like, all right, I'm just gonna read you this book. Like, you don't have to say anything. I'm just gonna like, after like 10 minutes of like me not smiling, I got this book here and I'm gonna read it to you. And literally it was just a child's book about a cat. And the cat was just a kid, an autistic person. It was just like a bipedal little cat in a cat world. And it was a metaphor for an autistic kid. And I just remember her reading, and all of a sudden on like page 4, I just started bawling my eyes. And I didn't even realize I was crying at first. And I was just like, what's happening? And she's like, the cat's you. I'm like, oh, I'm like tearing up right now thinking about it. Like, oh my God, like the cat is me. Like, and then like, I realized like, oh, this is someone who knows what's wrong with me and can like, not what's wrong with me, but like knows what I'm going through and can help me with my struggles I am having.
Right.
Oh my
And when you first
heart.
get diagnosed, it does feel like this person can help me with what's wrong with me because you go through your entire
Yeah.
life with so much shame.
I was
about
gonna
it.
say,
Yes.
yeah.
And the
it's
social
like
issues
you
of just
feel like a
communicating.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was called a problem child specifically from my stepmom just because I also have ADHD and it took them a long time to diagnose me. So
Yeah, but to myself, 10th grade, figured that out. Started getting kind of like tracked on. I was very adamant. I'm like, I don't want to take any medicine. Like, I don't trust medicine anymore. Like, it can help for people, and I definitely say if there's medicine that can help you, you should definitely give it a go at least under proper supervision and give it a try. But for me, I was like way too scarred, where it's like I can't take more medicine. I am afraid of what's gonna happen. Addiction runs in my family. You know, I've lost family members to alcohol and smoking. So I'm like, I don't want anything weird to happen like that. So, and like, I have addiction with food. So like, I knew that part. So that's all off. But I remember like, yeah, like it was like really weird getting through like being a young adult at that point, like exiting high school and just kind of catching up socially and figuring out like who my wholly developed self is. Like college for me was weird because college was like high school for everyone else. Where like everyone in high school figured out how to socialize and make deep bonds and then applied that in college to make their like adult world deep bonds. And instead I'm in college kind of like experimenting everywhere like you do, but like in that way. And then I end college and everyone's got like best friend, work buddy, like professional connections. I'm like, oh, I just figured this out. So where do I go now? And also the other thing about me, which is just like, you know, made it always hard, is that like as someone with higher functioning, quote unquote, ASD and being like extroverted, which is like the not norm for people on ASD, is like, that's what made it really hard to diagnose me. Is like, oh, he has social issues, but he's also very loud and likes to socialize. It's very conflicting.
yeah.
But the loudness and the desire to socialize is often like, for me at least, because you lack those deep connections like you were talking about. So you look for attention, you look for connection, you make yourself as loud as possible to be, for at least for me, I make myself as loud of a personality as possible to try to like get to those deep connections more quickly because I've lacked them my entire life.
Exactly. Well, I'll move over to you then, since we're already on. I'm wrapped.
Yeah, so my dad and my sisters, or my siblings, my dad is definitely autistic. My siblings are definitely autistic, but they're all like much more higher needs than I am. I didn't figure out that I was autistic myself until last year. And then when I told my parents, my mom, because I'm self-diagnosed because I'm chronically ill. And if you have an autism diagnosis on your medical file, it could be really difficult to get your doctors to take you seriously. That's already a problem for me, being chronically ill and being on regular pain medication and being a woman. So, I didn't go for the clinical diagnosis, but when I told my parents, my mom was like, yeah, looking back, that makes sense. And when I told my dad, he said, yeah, duh. And I was like, you couldn't have told me at some point?
Right.
I've just spent the last 20 years lonely and wondering what's wrong with me and all of that. And you're just like, yeah, of course you're autistic. That made me so mad.
All of college is just like, you know, older people like boomers, stuff like that, don't really know. Zoomers and you know, Xers, they're kind of like a little bit more like on the know about mental health and stuff like that. And so like I'm very forward about my condition. And so many times like I'll just bring it up casually after knowing someone for like a week or a month, whatever comes up. And I'll be like, oh yeah, no, I'm autistic. And it'll be the moment of oh, that makes sense. Like that's always like, it's never like, oh really? It's always like, oh, this explains so much. Like, we already liked you, but now we know why you act like this.
Yeah. My friends give me shit because, like, I think it's funny when I miss a social cue and then my friends can laugh at like with me about it, because generally it'll be like a joke that goes over my head, or I take something super literally or whatever, and I'll pick up that I missed that social cue like after the like 30 seconds after the fact, and I'll be like, oh, sorry, I have autism. And then like everybody laughs because it's just like, it's literally just like little things like that. Like I'm still capable of socializing and I'm still extroverted and I love connection and I love talking to people. But there is that the missed social cues and like making sure that the people around me are aware that they need to be completely like literal with me and that I'm not going to pick up on any subliminal messages and that kind of thing. And then when I'm done socializing, I need time to like recharge. Even though I'm an extrovert, I need time afterwards to like process everything that went on and
like
make
it
sure
just
that I'm
hits
not...
you like a wall all of a sudden. Like the second, it's like when like you're like going through finals week at college or like high school where you're like, I can't get sick, I have to do this, I have to do that, and the second you go on break, like your body gets a cold or whatever. It's like that. That's how I feel about it, at least.
Exactly. Like I slow down. I did the Race to World First casting, and then afterwards I spent like 2 weeks talking to no one because I was just like, I don't even know how to. I can't even. That was too much. That was too much. Because normally what I do to not burn out like that is I do 2 days on, 1 day off, which no workplace offers that kind of work model. So I work and I socialize for 2 days, and then I'll do like 1 day where I get to just like recharge and work on the behind the scenes stuff. And I'm still working. It's just like I'll be like writing, or I'll be like doing graphics or something like that, where it's like it's not... I'm doing the production stuff so that I don't have to talk to people as much that day, just to like keep everything under control. But like I said, like no workplace that I've ever worked at has offered that, and that's why I'm self-employed, because it's really the only thing that works for me.
That
Especially
makes
as a disabled
sense.
person. Like,
And even like
So
yeah. And they say that they accommodate, you know, those things in the workplace, but then it's kind of like an uphill battle of like proving you need the accommodation, which is really frustrating in the US. We shouldn't have to like prove that.
And also like the
we
rap
would
of
thrive
like
better working from home or having days to recharge or things like that, you know.
the big wrap up also of like, oh, you're autistic, that's ADD, right? Or that's ADHD, right? Or like you exhibit symptoms of one thing and they only know how to handle that one thing, so they assume that's all you need and it applies to everyone, and it's just like,
they go, well, we'll just help you with the OCD and ADHD and adjustment disorder part of what you have. But God forbid we actually say the word autism, because I mean, there's a cat on my desk.
There's no problems with the cat. Hello, cat.
We love cats on this show.
At least for me.
Hell yeah.
In my experience, like trying to get a diagnosis and get therapy and all of that, I was diagnosed with OCD when I was a very small child, and then I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was in high school, because they thought I was narcoleptic, but it turns out I just had chronic fatigue from Crohn's, from a Crohn's bleed that I wasn't aware of. But they had put me on Ritalin to try to like help the narcolepsy, but then it just made me function like a human being, and I was like, hey, I don't think that worked the way you wanted that to work. And my psychiatrist was like, do your parents have ADHD? And I was like, yeah, my dad takes like 20 milligrams of Adderall a day because it's really severe. And he was like, okay, yeah, no, you have ADHD. We don't even need to do like testing or whatever. It's very obvious that you do, the way your brain responded to that. And I was like, epic, thank you. But as a woman, at least with autism, you'll get diagnosed with all the comorbidities without even them mentioning the word autism to you. Like like I said, I got OCD, I got ADHD, I got the adjustment disorder, I got all of that, but never autism until like last year.
That's interesting, because I kind of feel like I'm in that, not struggle, but you know, doctors like to gaslight you. They're like, oh, like their first thing is like, lose weight, you'll feel better, or
oh
like,
my God,
you know what I mean? And
and for me, I've always been underweight,
change your birth
so it's always
control,
been it's always been, you need to gain weight. You're too small. Like we can't do anything for you while you're still. They focus so much on weight, and I don't understand why, because my weight has nothing to do with my brain chemistry.
For me, it made sense because like I've only been diagnosed with ADHD, generalized anxiety disorder, and borderline personality disorder. So I have the three.
Same. I didn't.
The holy trinity.
The thing that happened for me with borderline, I had symptoms my entire life, and I've been in
Yeah.
therapy for the last couple years. And then recently, I brought up borderline to my therapist because I found out
Yeah.
about quiet borderline personality
Mhm.
disorder. And she was like, "Yeah, if you had asked me like 6 months to a year ago, I would have been able to diagnose you, but you no longer meet the diagnostic criteria, so I can't diagnose you."
Wait,
And
what
I
is?
was like,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What does
Oh
that
my
mean?
lord.
basically, it means
Wild.
that I've been in enough therapy and I do enough like self-awareness and like maintenance in my relationships that I
Yeah.
no longer count as borderline because I'm not codependent and I don't I've learned to
What?
not base my I used to, but I've
Your
learned to not
relationships are
base my
stable,
emotions.
so they're
Yeah,
using the they're
exactly.
using the stigmatized
What?
version to kind of
Wait, so
Exactly.
that's
So
like that's like being like that's like if you're like like you lost a leg and it's like, oh well, you've learned how to use that stick pretty well, so you can just keep using that
Yeah.
stick instead of getting like a robot leg. Like
exactly. And
Yeah.
so when I talk to people about it, I tell people that I have borderline tendencies because I've never technically been diagnosed.
right.
Yeah.
But in my head, I still have to catch myself in all those thought processes of like, oh my God, my boyfriend didn't
Yeah.
text me back. I'm this is the end of the world. I have to be
Yeah,
like,
your favorite
hold up.
person is it's an interesting issue where you're
Yeah.
like one moment you're like you're the best thing in the world and then something happens
then you start
totally
splitting.
out of their control. Yeah. And I've always kind of struggled with black and white thinking. I've had like a hard time meeting people in the center of like justifying certain things that happen in like a relationship or something. And I've always had that feedback of like you just think so black and white. So I talked to my therapist and like I got diagnosed with borderline, did like the DBT therapy and all that. I don't know if it goes away or anything, but I just still tell people that I have it because even though I catch myself in those feelings, I do still struggle with like the sensitivity part of like feeling things so deeply. It's like physically ailing me. Like if something happens to me and it like messes my whole day up.
The worst one for me is like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ADHD experiences this too, the rejection sensitivity
Oh,
dysphoria.
the worst.
Oh my God. It can just completely derail everything that I'm doing for like 3
Yeah.
days if I get feedback from somebody I care about or somebody whose opinion I respect or value or whatever
Right.
like that. If I feel like I made the wrong impression, it doesn't even have to be like that they specifically said something to me, but
Right.
because of like the autism and I grew up in a not great childhood, I've gotten so
Same.
used to like overcompensating for other people's lack of
True.
communication. So you
Mhm.
start looking for those like small behaviors and changes in tone and body language and all
Definitely
that
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
But being aware, being hypervigilant of all those things is actually what made it harder for me to get to the point of realizing that I have autism because it's like I can do so much to be aware of what other people's emotions are and I'm sympathetic and all of
Mhm.
that. But it's like I got that like emotionally beaten into me to do that. That's not
Yeah.
something that I do naturally. I don't naturally know how to guess other people's emotions. I have to
Right.
I have like a checklist in my head. I'm like, oh, are they doing this? Are they doing this? Are they doing this? So then when it comes to if they're doing something bad or I perceive them as like not liking me or whatever,
Yeah.
that is when I start having a meltdown because I'm like, oh God, oh
Same.
God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
great.
I think
Yeah,
part of
I,
it
I
too.
definitely struggled with that kind of thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Like I
Kevin,
would
tell us
love
about
to
yourself and your
hear.
background.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
He's like,
so
wow,
I
I
had
didn't know why I
a
was here, but I guess I will. We just wanted the pretty face and the cool hat. That's really it.
Yeah. You're a
I
whole
like
vibe.
their
There's
background
a
too.
cat tree.
Oh, there is a
Great.
cat tree. Oh my God, I didn't notice.
Thank you. I'm sorry, like I was just listening and I just have a thing where I don't want to like interrupt other people's conversations and then I forget I'm part of the conversation where it's like, oh fuck, that's right, I'm supposed to be talking too.
It's okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like, my experience has been kind of weird just because I was only diagnosed in 2018, so I had no freaking clue like what was going on with me my whole life, and this was only after I really like struggled for much of the last decade like with severe anxiety and severe depression, and I didn't know what was exacerbating that. Like, there's a comorbidity with, anxiety and depression with autism where one makes the other worse, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna get like an in-depth test on this shit because I have no idea what's going on.
Mhm.
Because growing up, like my parents were told that I may have Asperger's, but they never followed up on it. I guess because there was a sort of sense of like denial.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you, but
I feel like
what ended up
parents
happening?
deny their kids of their
Like,
autism diagnosis
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
well, yeah, because, and that's the thing. Like, I'm a clone of my dad. It's very obvious that he has autism too, and it's like that bothers me even more because I guess it's just like, oh no, he's like me. He's totally normal, and normality is such an asinine thing where it's like, it doesn't matter if I'm normal. I would like to be me, please.
Yeah.
So I just went my entire life not realizing that I was on the spectrum until after I was diagnosed. And my mom was like, oh, yeah, we were told you had Asperger's when you were younger,
Mm.
which makes everything click into place.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I was in like special needs classes sometimes, like I was taken from my regular primary school classes and brought into, special ed classes without quite understanding why.
Mm.
Or why I had like weird tics growing up where I would just like do this random behavior, make a random noise for whatever
Stimming.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I was stimming a lot because I was bored, because I remember in third grade I had to basically be programmed by my teacher to not make noises in the middle of class, where I would just go like just without any cause and just like disrupt the rest of the class, where she bribed me with a gold star for each third of the day that I didn't make noises, until I guess I was just like conditioned not to do that, which
Mm.
yeah, that might be a handy little way of doing that, but I wish I had gotten like proper treatment where
Right.
not only proper treatment but like accommodation instead,
Yeah.
just
Well,
based
Yeah.
on who I
even
was.
an alternative, like if that stim wasn't working, like for me at least, I was undiagnosed, but I still had all of my I've masked all of my autistic traits because I didn't want to be a problem child, because I
Oh yeah.
watched my siblings, who are both much more like higher needs than I am. I watched them and how much the adults in my life resented them and resented their needs. And I was like, well,
Oh,
I don't want to
wow.
be like that. So
Yeah.
it was a matter of
Damn.
like, instead of vocal stimming, it was like singing along to songs. And I had like
Mm.
fish toys and stuff like that. Anything that was like low key, quiet could be seen as normal, so that way it wasn't
Yeah.
so obvious that I was struggling. And
Yeah.
that never went away either. I still do the same thing to mask, and it sucks. It
Yeah,
sucks.
it's interesting. I feel like a lot of like the care and diagnosis around mental is like, instead of helping you utilize like your style and become you and like be more comfortable with how interpret the world, it's almost as if like they're giving the people associated with you, or the people around you, that attention of like, here's how you handle, you know, it almost makes it feel like it's a problem when it's not. To me, it seems like a Myers-Briggs style, where like you learn somebody's communication style, their learning style, something like that. Instead of doing that, it's like, oh, how do we get you to behave in class? Or how do we, you know what I mean? Like conform. Like it's more of like they use it as a way to kind of keep you in a box, which it shouldn't do. I don't agree
Yeah.
with.
And by doing
And
that,
that
you
might
miss
be
out.
why parents are in denial, because they know that there's that stigma, right? Like they know that it's going
Yes.
to change the quality of life.
Growing
So
up in
that
a
could be
small
why they're
town, like,
avoiding.
yes. Where it's like,
Yeah.
I have, like, figured it all out in 10th grade. It's like, awesome. I can track my life now. Hey, school, here's
Yeah.
my IEP. Oh, we're not gonna do any, except for the one science teacher who during a
Yeah.
meeting when everyone's complaining about me, and then it's his turn, he's like, are any of you doing his IEP? Because he's a perfect student in my class. Like, are any of you doing it? Because it doesn't sound like you're doing
Yeah.
it. And then, of course, he ended up being gay and getting bullied out of the school because he was gay, because it's rural
Oh
America.
my
So,
god.
but,
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's
yeah.
sake.
I feel like
Yeah, I mean, that's why ABA is still so popular, though, because
Yeah.
ABA,
noticed
applied
that.
behavioral analysis, like
Yeah.
basically it's kind of like Pavlov's dog, where
Mhm.
it rewards good behaviors and punishes bad behaviors. So,
Mhm.
like autistic children are essentially tortured into acting neurotypical, where
Right.
if there's something that triggers them, then they continue to do the thing that triggers them until they don't give their typical response.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just wish that we didn't do. Oh, and my chat is telling me like it's essentially gay conversion therapy for autistic
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
no, it
because
literally
they were
is.
invented by the
It
same
is.
guy.
Yeah.
That's
And
yeah.
I mean, I never had anything like that, but like I'll say I'm left-handed. Like back then, they didn't want
Hey, what's up?
left-handed people, so they forced them to write right-handed, right? It's
So-
like the same thing, but like obviously my school didn't do that, but it happens. Like people want to deal with the same individual, like they want people to be small and in this like containable, I don't know,
And I think
way. And
Yeah.
yeah,
by doing that, we miss out on all of the good things that autism
Agree.
can bring out in people. Like for me, I love that I have like a sponge brain and I can remember anything, any like fun facts about one of my hyperfixations. I could give you a
Nice.
whole list. I've got like
Yeah.
World of Warcraft and koalas and social media algorithms and fashion. Like
Hell
I can rattle off
yeah.
all these random
love
things
that.
about these random topics. And I love it too, but I feel like for so long I got made fun of because I was like a walking
Yeah.
encyclopedia, right? Like that was always why that was
Mhm.
always how I got bullied, was like, oh, like she's a know-it-all. She like she'll
Same. Oh my
correct
gosh.
you all the time, blah blah blah. But it's literally
Yeah.
just like in my head I was like, I want to share this with other people because I care so much about these topics.
Yeah.
But to other people
Yeah.
it was like, could you shut up already? You won't stop talking about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And then you
I get
also always
that,
have
like-
the one moment where you say something that does like amaze people. And you get
Yeah.
that like second of validation of like, this is what I'm looking for. And then as like neurotypical people that then divert the conversation at some point. You're
Yeah.
like, wait, but we were having this moment where I feel like you're not like thinking about it actively, but like in your mind, like, oh, I'm feeling validated. And now we're shifting away from that. Wait, can't we keep having this happen, you know?
Yeah.
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 Also,
Well, I mean, that's
something
because they wanted to. Yeah. I mean, it's just because like people don't share the same kind of interest that you do if you like hyperfixate on things.
Yeah.
Like I could tell people about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure all day long, but they don't. They're just like, okay, can you stop, please? So I feel ya.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
We get it. They're all
I mean-
hot. They're all hot. We get it.
Yeah.
That's what I hear from everybody who watches JoJo's. They're just like, I'm bi, and literally every single person
Yeah.
on the show
I'm
is
also
hot.
bi, and yes, that checks out. It tracks.
I'm not
Yeah.
bi, but I can always admit when a man is hot.
And
I love
that's
that
fair.
about you,
hell yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
cool as hell.
I
mean,
always said that was my
obviously
best
haven't-
director trait in college. Is like we're casting stuff, and it's like I'm like, oh, he's hot, and everyone just look at me like, what? He's hot. He's just hot. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, like
You don't
hello,
see it.
It's just a fact.
Objectively, yeah, like totally. I get it.
And that's part of it too. Is like I've always been told I'm very direct. Like I have ADHD and BPD. Like I feel emotions very deeply. And I like stew on conversations, and then I always like notice after a day of heavy social and masking, as you say, I would just totally be exhausted physically, mentally afterwards. And I do this thing in social situations where if someone's talking about something and I have a similar experience or like something happened to me or someone around me, I'll like bring it up and talk about my experience because I'm like trying to relate with the other person, but it comes off as like show
Making
offy.
it about
or, like,
Yes,
yeah.
especially
and I do get that.
especially getting in like hosting and stuff like that. I've
Oh
had
my
that
God,
issue,
yeah.
and on top of that, something I have to always stop myself from doing, and I still do it too much,
Yep.
and that's fine. Or I don't have to stop myself from doing it, but I had a confrontation like a few years ago with a friend where people will be talking, and I'll be like, yeah, and I'll just interject with like small like affirmations, because to me it's like, oh,
Aw.
I want them to know that I'm listening, or I'll
Yeah.
interrupt,
Yeah.
I'll quote unquote interrupt with a follow up question, because I
Active
want them to
listening.
understand that I am because I may like. As part of my like attention difficulties, look around a little bit,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I want them to know that. And one time I had literally my best friend be like, "Hey, you gotta stop doing that." And I'm like, "What?" And like not for him, but like for other people around. Like,
Yeah.
they think you're like trying to talk over them. It's like, oh no, I'm trying to tell them that I'm very like engaged with what they're talking about. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, so yeah, that always gets
Yeah,
like, really
it's
difficult.
interesting how it gets interpreted that way.
Huh.
Yeah, I feel
That
like
makes a lot of sense,
it
actually.
can be a neurodivergent thing. It can also be a cultural thing.
yeah.
I found out recently that for like Jewish people, interrupting is considered like a form of active listening, and it's like a sort of a respect thing almost. And neurodivergent do something something very similar, where like we do it Jess said, where it's like we relate to somebody's experience with our own, trying to be like, hey,
Right.
I know what you're feeling, I know what you're going through, I'm really sorry that that's happening. But all neurotypical people here, or holistic people here, is like, oh, you're just talking about you when I'm trying to talk about
Right.
me, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so when I meet other neurodivergent people and I start like trauma dumping, because we'll like mutual trauma dump.
Yes.
My
I do that
first
too.
major
I do it
conversation
all
with
the time.
another neurodivergent person is always like mutual trauma dumping.
Yeah.
And then we're like, after the first
Oh.
couple days, it's like, all right, cool. Well, now we know why we are the way we are, and
It's-
we can be friends now.
It's the scene from Into the Spider-Verse where Miles meets Peter and they realize they're both Spider-Men, except for the follow-up to that scene is they're both at a McDonald's eating a shit ton of food, trauma dumping on each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I love having
Oh.
conversations with neurodivergent people, though. It's great.
Same.
I
Thanks,
love
Jess.
it because they just give you like a character sheet of who they are right away, so you don't have to like
Yeah.
play small talk to figure
There's
out who
no
they are.
small
You're
talk.
just like,
That's my
you're like,
favorite thing.
here's my character sheet. I have this much charisma, this much, and you're like, yes, love it.
Yes. I always
So.
tell people, because I talk about my disabilities and my chronic stuff a lot, I always tell people that I rolled a 1 at character creation for all of my illnesses. And then like physical appearance and shit, I rolled a 20.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
great.
Oh my
But
god, that's awesome.
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing about neurodivergent people, is that we're so like
great.
blunt and upfront and honest, and you know exactly what you're getting
Yeah.
in like the very first conversation. Neurotypical people, it's like, do you like me? Are we
Yeah.
friends?
Yeah.
What is
I know,
this?
they're very like,
What's
they're
going on?
masky, but in a different way.
Yeah.
They're masky and like they don't let you
They're
read
masking
'em.
how normal they are. They want to seem more
Yeah.
quirky, you know? But they're masking that they're
Yeah.
just normal, quote unquote normal, you know, whatever normal is.
Have you
Totally
guys had that
right.
happen to you, where somebody would like make up stories
Yep,
to relate
yes,
to you? Because
yes.
I've had tons of people do that to me.
And I did it too,
Mm.
though. I did it too because I felt very out of place where I grew up, and I would make up experiences
That's
because
true.
I was
Yeah.
realizing that I had to be in this social environment for an extended period of time, like more than like a day, and be like, fuck, I need to like it's a survival mechanism. It's like I need to
It
fit
is.
into the tribe, you know?
I
Yeah.
think there's a difference though between pretending to be normal because you face discrimination if you don't, and
Yes, of
pretending
course.
to be traumatized because your friend is traumatized and you want to be #relatable.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
All the
That was one thing I don't
TikTokers.
fake, luckily. but-
Yeah. I wish I was faking all my trauma. Wouldn't that
Same.
be easy? God.
I actually
Yeah.
gaslight myself a lot. I always tell
Same.
myself like, I didn't experience anything.
It's
I'm
not
fine.
that bad. Yeah.
And then my
no.
therapist is like, let's unpack that. And I'm like, okay.
I've been writing.
I mean, honestly, it's the
Sorry.
weirdest thing when like sudden things just dawn on me, and I'm just like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
am I hiding the trauma?
You
know,
get like,
like,
Am I
like
the
a pop-up
trauma? I'm
achievement.
not the trauma.
Am I the trauma?
Well, I mean,
Oh my
like-
God. That would be such a good
I
audio.
mean, like,
The real trauma was the friends we made along the way.
Oh my
oh
God.
my gosh.
Trust me, my
Oh,
friends
no.
traumatized me too. I mean, part of growing up being traumatized the entire time is like,
Yeah.
then as an autistic person, like my dad's a narcissist and my extended family has a lot of narcissists too.
Same.
I dated 2
Oh, Lord.
narcissists because I was like, this
Same.
is familiar. I know
Yeah.
what this is predictable. I know what's going on here. And it
Right.
took like some
God.
serious therapy. My current partner is allistic and neurotypical. He's just very understanding and sympathetic, thank God.
Yeah.
But like it took me getting to my relationship with him to be like, oh, I don't want that familiarity. I want to challenge myself. I want to be in a relationship that makes me feel happy and safe.
Yeah, I put off dating
Yeah.
my current partner
Yeah.
for like kind of similar reasons, like emotionally, where it's like this is like it's too easy mentally, and I've always had to jump hurdles, and also like this is not the familiarity I'm used to, so I shouldn't. You know, this isn't what like I'm able to structure my life around. And like I bless her so much for like being, you know,
Yeah.
casual for goddamn 8 months of our lives and just being like not seeing anyone else, but just like not like committing to it. And then maybe one day like, oh yeah, I think I love you. She's like, no shit. Like, no shit, you love me.
That's
That's
cute.
sweet though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the best.
My boyfriend
Heck
just
yeah.
had to deal with a lot of me being like, "Are you sure?
That's
I'm
me.
warning you, like, what you're getting into. And he's like, yes, I'm sure. I love you very
Yeah.
much. And like
Aw.
recently, I forget what it was, but I think he was trying to like, I just recently adopted these cats and he was like petting them. And I was like, no, you're doing it the wrong way. You have to pet them like this. And he was like, he just gave me the most like straight faced look. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. He's
So
like,
I
okay.
Aw.
I love you.
Aw.
I love your autism. You just need to be aware of it sometimes. I was
Yeah.
like, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
I had a really bad like
Like-
spiral moment that I won't get into because it's a little personal, like a few months ago. And she like caught me like starting to spiral like pretty early. Like we just started living together like a few months ago. So like, you know, not having to see me like in this kind of atmosphere for extended periods of time. And she like caught me and like stopped me in a way no one ever had before. And I was like, what is going on? And then afterwards I'm like, oh my God, this
Aw.
is the greatest woman I've ever met. Like it's like my mom who like has known me since childhood could not have done that. Like no shot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
No, I feel that's so hard. Like, I have been with my now wife for 13 years.
Aw.
We started dating in college, and we'd gotten married like just recently. So,
oh, congratulations.
Congrats.
you know, thank you. So, you know, and that's the beautiful thing about her is that like she wanted to be a counselor, and you know she understood a lot of the signs but didn't quite put a finger on it, but she
Mhm.
did broach the subject with me a couple times, like, hey, you know, have you ever thought about getting tested for this sort of thing? And I was like, oh no, I can't be that. I would have known otherwise. Little did I know, because you know she and I like worked on how to communicate with each other a little better, and now I have like a weekly check-in, a weekly stand-up every week just to see how I'm communicating with her.
Nice
Yeah.
plug.
And-
Thank you.
And it's just like that works so well for me because I mean it's sort of like what my counselor told me, where if something works for you, then do it if it
Yeah.
helps you remember certain things.
I love
Like,
that. Like,
and
I
that-
love when counselors are like, do the thing that you want to do to feel better. Like, because I just remember one counselor I had, all he would say is, you don't know how to cope, learn how to cope. And I'm like, how?
What
Teach
does
me."
that mean?
Yeah. I'm like, teach me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That kind of thing gets like really maddening. Kind of
Oh.
I'm steering a little bit more towards like the you know, less personal, more like everyday issues that like people with ASD face that like really is understood. And maybe this doesn't apply to everyone here, obviously, because it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
But I think one of the like wildest things that isn't accommodated in just society, socially, the workplace, is the sensory issues that people with ASD have.
Oh
Like
my
for
gosh,
me,
yeah, I can't
it's
even
I'm
imagine.
very lucky, or I think I'm very lucky because I don't know how I would deal with other ones wanting to be in media. But for me, it's just touch and taste. It's not something like sound or sight, which I think would like be
Okay.
the worst thing for me wanting to be in media. But like
Yeah.
even for me, like with those things, like being in like rooms where like the air is stale, being in like on furniture that like abraises me in a certain way that like makes me feel like
see.
on edge. Growing up being like, oh, he's picky. Oh, you're so picky. Why won't you eat what I like? You know, why won't you eat what I make? And then it's like, oh, he has a taste sensory issue. It's like, oh, he's
Yeah.
not picky. His brain's on fire when he eats this texture. Or like I remember tacos. I remember
Oh.
when I found out all this stuff in 10th grade, I realized, holy shit, I probably really do like tacos. It's my flight or fight. So what happens, at least for me specifically, is like when I eat something new that I've never like had like a registered memory of before, it's going to be like a fight or flight response. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be like, you don't like it, spit it out. You don't know what this is. I don't know what this texture or this flavor is, so get it out of your mouth. And I knew like everything in a taco is something I like. So I'm like, Mom, can you
Yeah.
make tacos one night? She's like, sure, I'll make tacos. Made tacos, ate it, spit it out immediately. And she was like, oh, did I do something
Aw.
wrong? I'm like, no. Please make them again.
Aw.
Make them again tomorrow with the leftovers. And she's like, okay. I'm like, I can't eat more tonight. Please make them tomorrow. She like kind of didn't really understand. Like I kind of explained to her, but she didn't like read the same thing I read because she's like busy with her own stuff and 2 other kids at the same time. I didn't blame her for that.
Mhm.
And so I had the next day and like I got it down, but I only had one. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go eat something else. Thank you. Leave the leftovers. I'll have it again tomorrow. And then by like the end of that week, I'm like, oh cool, I can eat tacos now. Like because it was just about like registering that new sensory engagement in my brain and not letting like the
Yeah.
animal brain be like, this is unfamiliar. Because it's like it's this caveman brain. It's like,
Interesting.
I don't know what this berry is. Berry could be poison. Spit it out. It's
Yeah.
like that's all it is, at least for me personally. And same thing with like touch, right? It's like, oh, this chair is not the kind of chair I sit in like all day at my house. I don't feel familiar and comfortable here. Oh, what is my posture now? What is this? And then like that makes me feel uncomfortable in situations.
Oh yeah, like being suddenly aware of everything. Like
or clothing
yourself,
shopping.
but in
Clothing
this, like,
shopping's the worst.
I hate clothing
Yeah.
shopping.
I hate.
Oh Lord.
I have like the same like 3 brands that I shop at, and
Yeah, me
I
too.
shop almost entirely online because
Me
it's too
too.
much physical effort to do that as
Yeah.
a disabled person in person. I don't care what people say. Stuff like showering and changing clothes and cooking is the most. These are like the top 3 most impossible tasks for me.
Mm.
But like shopping online, I only buy things that are cotton and spandex. If I see polyester or nylon, or the worst is like acrylic and wool sweaters.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
If I see any of that in the clothing breakdown, I will not buy those things. Polyester and nylon are like maybe, but like, do you know the way that like flags feel, like pride flags
Yeah.
or American
I
flags or
hate
whatever?
that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. Fleece also. Oh my god, I never want fleece to touch me again in my life. I would be perfectly okay never touching another fleece item.
Especially
for
the
rest of
static
my
you
life.
get from fleece, and then that's its own sensory
I
thing
hate
on
getting
top
shocked.
of
Oh
the fleece.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Not-
No,
I'm gonna
not even
have
getting shocked. Just feeling the electricity like running on you.
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
it's
At least to me as a
because of,
hair
That's
like,
person, you know?
horrendous.
It's because
I'm
of like,
gonna-
autism and neurodivergency that we get that hypersensitivity to stuff like that. Autistic
Yeah.
people don't feel that. They don't feel the electricity. They don't hear the appliance hums. They don't. They
Yeah, I
don't.
know
Oh,
exactly
the
what you
appliance
world the way
hums,
that we
dude.
do.
Being
Oh,
I can
being
hear my
two
fridge right now,
stories
and it's killing me.
being 2 stories away in the back of your house and hearing the TV turn on the first floor in the opposite corner and in the middle of the night and being like,
Yeah.
what's that sound? What's going on?
I have
Enjoying
to
it.
have
Oh,
music
yeah.
playing
Just like
at
Yeah.
all times.
so this is like kind of the clothing thing kind of has brought me out from the woodwork. I may have bought 10 pairs of the exact same pant and several of the same top, and they don't make some of the pants anymore. So I have
Mhm.
every week, like every weekend, I will dedicate like 15 minutes to trying to find something and then not finding it and then doing it again after initial like search for like, days
Yeah.
for
Oh, yeah.
actually the opposite. I actually like polyester a lot. Like polyester pants exclusively are my favorite pairs of pants, and I don't have they don't have the cut that I like. And I may kind of fixate on that a lot.
I have the same Nike. I have the same Nike shoe I've bought since 8th grade. I buy 2 of them a year. I go like the buy
outfits I
one get one
rotate.
sale every single year. Buy one get one half off. Buy one get one free. And I just buy 2 pairs, and they last me the year. Then I buy a new 2 pairs.
You're a
of them.
minimalist. It's great.
I'm big on like fashion and experimenting and stuff like that, and I do a lot of thrifting, but I'm also big on returning things if I get
Nice.
it or feel like it's disgusting and I can't wear it. But a lot of what I do is
Hell
like
yeah.
I find a cut that I like, or I find a fabric that I like. I find a company that I like. Like one of my favorite brands for skirts is American Apparel, but they're out of business. So I end up doing a lot of thrifting and a lot of shopping on eBay and a lot of like
Interesting.
looking for things that have and that's I think one of the worst things about autism, in my opinion, is when they discontinue one of your safe items.
Yes.
Oh my
Or they
God,
change
Yes,
yeah.
or your
formula
or your
something.
safe
I'm not,
media,
I'm not diagnosed,
anything.
but that happened to me.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Like
I
I have
hate
perfume. My thing is smells. I have to smell good all the time.
I
Like I need to
feel
have
like-
like a perfume on or deodorant. And they discontinued my favorite perfume. It's Miss Dior Sherry. Totally gone. I used to wear it for years though, like out of high school into college, and then it just is a new formula now, and now I just can't wear it.
Oh boo.
I
You guys see, like,
remember.
every once in a while there will
Boo.
be like a viral story floating around about like an autistic kid who the company cancels their thing or changes it, and then
Yeah.
sometimes the mom will like write a letter to the company
Yeah.
and be like, please, for the love of
Yeah.
God, please put this back up, or like, I'm begging you, and they'll
Yeah.
send like a year's supply of whatever the thing is or
Yeah.
whatever. I always find that that's so sweet, but it's so interesting to me
Yeah.
that it's like so many of our parents, because we grow up undiagnosed with all of the stigma, we don't
Mhm.
get access to that kind of thing. We don't get access to that kind of help. We don't get the understanding of, yes, I
Right.
really just want to eat the same thing every single night. I
Yeah.
really, really do.
Or, like,
I really am good with
when
just the one thing.
when it's the
Yeah.
same thing, but it's been changed, right? So for me, like cereal, like I could taste when the Cocoa Puff recipe was different. I'd be like, this isn't
Yeah.
right. And my mom would be like, it's Cocoa Puffs. I bought them from the same store. So I'm telling you, this batch is wrong. I can't eat it. And she'd be so mad. She's like, I spent $4 on these Cocoa Puffs.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
I can't. I'm sorry. I literally cannot eat this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been drinking
That is-
Snapple
That
Peach.
is so annoying,
for-
honestly.
I was
It is.
drinking Snapple Peach every day for years, and when they changed just the bottles, it wasn't even the formula, but when they went to these plastic bottles, I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different.
why? And now it's fine because it's still the same formula, but if they ever change the formula, what am I going to drink every day? I have no idea. I have literally no clue.
What?
But it's
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
have to hope that they don't end it or change it or whatever. And I think that that's one of the most interesting things about like dealing with autism as an adult is like
Mhm.
you get used to doing these same things all the time, having safe foods
Routines,
and
yeah.
yes, routines. I mean, I've seen The Good Place and Arcane
I love
Oh
like,
my
The Good
God.
Place.
8
Yeah.
times each. Those are my like safe shows. I
I
just
love
finished
Mine-
watching
mine's on
Dexter.
this
I'll
wall up
rewatch
here.
that. Like I'll just
Yeah.
watch the same thing over and over and
Me
over again because
too.
I like it. It makes
Yeah.
me
It's
feel
the same
good.
every time. It
It's the
doesn't
same
throw
every time.
On
it
on
doesn't
those
give
two-
you a surprise emotion. And I think that's the thing too, is because like I have problems with emotional regulation. So if
Yeah.
something gives me a surprise emotion, it's hard to talk me off that ledge.
Yeah.
So
When you're watching like a
Oh,
scary or
yeah.
suspenseful story or something, do you ever go to the Wikipedia and spoil it for yourself?
I
that
can't
then
do
you-
horror.
No,
I can't do horror for that
that's
exact
I haven't
reason.
done that. But I will
I
have people
highly
tell me
recommend
about
it
it,
for
and
horror and suspense.
I don't care about spoilers.
Neither
Yeah,
do I.
that was a thing growing up. Is like horror movies.
Oh
Like
my
I could
God.
not
I'm the
watch horror
complete
films.
opposite.
Like really.
Oh yeah, no, like somebody spoiled my favorite show, Dexter, for me, like the ending to
Oh,
the fourth
no.
season.
Oh,
in
shit.
college,
That's a
and
good
I was
that's a
just
good
like,
ending
I know, it
too.
was
I-
a good
Dexter is
show.
so good too. I was
I'd be
just
mad
saying
too.
I
that.
will murder you. Why did you do this? Like I was just intensely
That's
angry
unfair.
at that person
I
for
had-
a while.
I had the only other like anime kid in my grade literally walk up to me one day, like knowing I didn't read the manga and I only watched the anime of Naruto, and telling me Jiraiya died, and I wouldn't see that on screen for 4 more years. And it was like, what the fuck,
Monster.
dude? Like he knew this, and he
Oh
just
my
casually threw it out. It's like,
gosh.
yeah, so I was reading the manga this week, and they just killed off Jiraiya, and I was like,
Oh,
that's cool. I just met Jiraiya, so I don't. That's awesome.
That is actually unforgivable. Though.
It is unforgivable.
yeah.
He-
Like what?
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
unforgivable.
I agree there.
But
I
on,
do wanna point out-
on that note of
Rita,
like
Why
removal
did
of
you
like
have to go that way?
on that note of like removal of comfort and also like media in that way, where like there was a
Mhm.
show before, like back when like I was like just diagnosed with ADD, but way before I knew like I was like autistic, and like there was a show on Cartoon Network I remember went away. It was called Class of 3000. It was like a music based TV show where the
Oh,
like the
yeah.
actual artist Sonny Bridges was the main character as himself. I'm pretty sure he was like a jazz musician, and it was all about like education and music basically and stuff like that. And
That's cool.
I remember it went away, and I just felt so like robbed, and I was like so upset. And I didn't really know why. It wasn't even like like it wasn't like even like there was a whole overarching narrative
Yeah.
or anything like that. That was
You
invested
just
in.
had
It
an
was just like
emotional attachment.
yeah, and I remember just being like so like overly. I was like I could recognize that. I'm like, why am I feeling this strong about it? Like I don't understand. Like I love other things like Pokemon and stuff way
Yeah.
more. Like I don't understand why I'm having this reaction. And then years later, I remember like talking with friends in high school or college about it. They were just like talking about old TV shows, and they were like, "Oh, I remember this show." I'm like, "Oh, I love that show." We're like, "What happened to it? It just stopped airing." So we're like, "Oh, let's Google it now." And it got canceled normally, but apparently at the time, like they suck obviously, but they were referencing like Autism Speaks and all these like other like. Like companies came out and be like, yo, you need to reinstate this show because like autistic people love this shit and it like makes them feel very seen. I was like, oh, I guess that's what happened with me. Like, I guess it just spoke to me in that way. Yeah, it was just like
Wow.
the way it used music to explain like non concrete principles of like social or education and stuff like that. Like just like really worked with autistic people apparently.
Oh,
I do wanna
damn!
point out,
I'm so
somebody-
sad I missed that show growing up.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
It was like
Sounds
one season.
interesting.
Yeah, it was like one season on Cartoon
Wow.
Network.
Somebody in chat was
Like,
talking
I saw
about,
the adverts for it, but it was just like, never caught it.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, I'll shut up now.
You're
No,
good.
Don't shut up.
You're definitely on a
Okay,
delay too,
finish
it
your
seems
thought.
like. So definitely don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, but I
Oh.
wanted to talk about, somebody in chat said like the strong ethics versus desire for easy, safe food. I would like to
Yeah.
talk about Chick-fil-A because
Mm.
Chick-fil-A is one of my safe foods, but as an LGBT person, I feel like a horrible person every time I
Yeah.
eat it. However, sometimes it's quite literally the only thing my body will eat, so then I'm
Yeah.
like forced to partake in this
Yeah.
stupid, horrible business.
Growing up in
And
very
it
Catholic
sucks,
rural
but-
America, growing up eating it and not knowing the issues around it because I'm in Catholic rural America, and I'm also doing my own issues, so I don't have time to like. It's also one of those things where it's like I had to apologize to so many friends during like BLM, where like I did my education like on all that stuff. I'm like, oh, I wasn't like the racist or the problem, but I didn't help the situation
Yeah.
because I was so engrossed in my situation that I couldn't tell what was different about them. I was like, oh, everyone's just going through shit, you know, and like. During that, so like, oh, me being like, hey, here's like Chick-fil-A to like my bi friend who definitely knew back then, like that, like they were not welcome because of that, and it's just like, you know, that's like a small example because we're talking about it, but like even now where it's like, I'm like, yeah, don't get Chick-fil-A, but also like part of me being every now and again with my family or like a friend who like isn't that engrossed in this stuff is like, hey, we're getting Chick-fil-A, and it just triggers that sensory in my brain of like nice little picnics outside of the house with my parents and doing that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's comfy emotionally, and I'm kind of gonna say yes in this case.
Mhm.
Chick-fil-A is actually my
Yeah.
kid's safe food right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like the only, so what we ended up doing, and part of it was thanks to the COVID lockdown, we found Costco chicken. It's like sort of like Chick-fil-A chicken. And so we've been able to like bake that and call it like Costco Chick-fil-A, and she'll eat it like half the time.
Yeah.
It's
Huh.
such a like, it's really difficult though. Like,
I don't
for
know.
real.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A
I
chicken minis were my safe food and safe breakfast for like a
Chicken minis
year.
are
Oh,
good.
wow.
When I
Yeah.
was at like peak depression. My mom would get that for me every day because it was the only thing I would eat, and she was like, you just need to eat something. I don't care what it is. So whatever
Yeah.
your one thing is that you're gonna eat, I will get that for you. So like however many times that you want. And shout out to my mom
Yeah.
who is like very supportive. When I told her, like I said, when I told her I was autistic, she was just like, okay, yeah, that like looking back, that makes sense.
Aw.
That kind of thing. But yeah, but it feels horrible looking back at it and being like, I am directly contributing to all those things.
Right.
But there is a point where, as an autistic person, as a disabled person, you don't really have a choice. But same thing with Amazon. Like, I don't want to contribute to that,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
also
I
don't
feel
want to
the
have to
same.
go outside, socialize, get sick, or like subject myself to the lights and the sounds and everything else of
Or, like,
grocery
I
stores.
need this-
hate grocery stores.
I need
by the
this
way.
very
Me too.
specific
Oh,
project.
I
yeah.
also hate
that my
grocery
target is a
stores. It is
stock.
a way to anger me quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grocery
I mean,
stores.
honestly,
Too
for
many
me,
lights, too many things,
like-
too many decisions, too many sounds, too many people.
In the way, like
Yeah.
not like blocking ways to move. Yeah.
I mean, that's such a weird thing because, like, I'm doing an inadvertent CTV impersonation right now because I think my key light is giving me a headache because I do have some sensory overload issues with light and sound.
Yeah.
But, like, if I'm shopping by myself and I know I can just go, like, through the store like that, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
But, like, for a lot of these things, I don't know, like, it just hits me at random times and it's just so annoying. Like when I had a sty in my eye, like, and I closed one of my eyes, because I normally close one of my eyes just to like limit the amount of light coming into
Yeah, I've
my
done that.
eye, so it's a little more bearable.
My daughter does
But
that.
when I had a sty and I actually like wore an eye patch just to like to court, it actually helped me feel good because it's like,
Oh.
okay, now I'm getting a nice amount of light here, and when I take the eye patch off, suddenly my head explodes, and it's just like,
Mhm.
okay, I get it.
I'm-
And
Sorry, go ahead.
like no, it's fine. Like, y'all just hit me so hard with like the comfort things because
Mhm.
for food, when I was at law school, like one of my favorite things that I got was the Publix chicken tender subs, but then I found out that, you know, the guy like at the president of the company or the founder of the company or whatever, like, donated to the Trump campaign and like just loves
Oh.
Trump. And it's just like, oh, ew, okay.
Yeah.
that's
like,
not a thing
gross.
that I support. I don't want to deal
Yeah.
with that. But like for media, I just had a really complicated relationship with like H.P. Lovecraft because I love horror. I
Mm.
love just like feeling the thrill of just going through a horror story, and it's like
Hmm.
I didn't realize just how much of a piece of shit Lovecraft was until after I had already gotten like a complete works book and gotten like into it, and I'm like, oh no.
I
But
own
on the other
this.
hand, yeah, like I own this and I have to like own it since that's like
Mhm.
that was one of my comfort things for the longest time. And then like another comfort media was like the Ender's Game series.
Oh yeah.
But this was before but this was before like I loved the quadrilogy, like the original quadrilogy of books like in college, but then I realized like years later that Orson Scott Card was a massive homophobe, and it's just like, okay, look.
I think a really common one for sorry, continue.
Like I got the audio. Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say like I got the audiobooks. I have to make peace with that.
Mhm.
But if I want to read any more of those books without supporting them directly, I'll just have to like thrift them since
Right.
it's an old series and I can do that. Because otherwise, like I would just hate contributing to something like that, knowing what I know now, even if I did enjoy that stuff in the past.
And real quick also for like neurotypical people who may be watching, like when we also say comfort, we're not like, oh, we're relaxing, we're enjoying a nice
Yeah.
Sunday off. Like comfort
like
means
survival.
it's bringing us down to like where
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
and
Off
you
the
girls
edge.
and NBs are operating at. It's
Right.
comfort to bring us back center and not like then that's the thing, like I use the only word to use is really comfort for it. But like talking about that with like HR or a teacher or something like that, like hey,
Right.
like I had one class that was in like an awful room that was super stuffy, and I'd be like, hey, I need permission to leave. And it was like a small class, not like a big lecture hall. So it's like, hey, I need permission to get up at any time to go get water, because if I don't get water, I'm gonna feel super uncomfortable in this classroom and not be able to operate efficiently. And like I had to have a discussion with them when it's like, he's like, well, if I let you do that, I have to let people bring in food and do this. Like, no, you don't understand.
I
This
hate
isn't to
that
relax
argument.
me. This is so I can
Yeah.
operate.
It's an accommodation. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not. And that's where you have to go into it. Just use the legal jargon that scares them, I guess, because you're like, well, yeah, you're
I like to
you're
refer
obligated.
I like to refer to things as like safe foods and safe media and safe
Yeah.
sounds, and because I want there to be that distinction between like this anything other than these things that my brain has determined are safe means that they are dangerous. Like
Yeah.
it is very black and white, because at
Right.
least for me, so it's like if it is not safe, then it is bad. So I
Bad.
need you to understand that it's not just comfort, it's like my mental and physical safety relies on me having this stability and having access to these resources and having this structure. But it's hard
Yeah.
because like people don't understand how deep that goes and like how meaningful safe things are to autistic people, because
Oh my
they
gosh.
Yeah.
do not understand.
I feel like
My
I might
stuffed
be
animals as a kid
undiagnosed.
was like a big thing,
But
and my parents had to
oh
get
my
rid
God,
of
for
them because
me?
of my allergies. Because they would like, I
Aw.
had a really bad pollen. I lived in the woods and I had a bad pollen allergy, and I had a dust allergy, and they would collect way too much dust and pollen. Where they're like, the doctor's like, you have to get rid of them, or he's not going to sleep well. Because I wasn't sleeping well, and it was like a huge trauma thing for me. Where it's like, this is my safe thing, and my safe thing is now unsafe for me. And it was. They did the right thing.
Oh.
Like they definitely
It's
did
like
the
you
right thing,
grieve
but it was
it.
like, yeah.
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 You're like grieving. Like I had a robot dog. It was called a Poochie, and it was like a little robot-looking dog. It had
Oh,
blue ears.
those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was so emotionally attached to this Poochie dog, and like I swear it had like feelings and stuff. I don't know. It was just weird. But I broke his
Aw.
ear off one day, and I sat there sobbing. Like was just like, I'm so sorry to this like little robot dog. I just felt like I don't know. I just remember that as a kid, and I just was always told that I was really sensitive. Like, oh, you're so sensitive. Like I would listen
Oh
to
yeah.
lyrics and cry, or like there's a touching thing on TV and I'll cry. So it's like, yeah.
Big-
I was just always dealing with that, but
I heard that a lot growing up too.
I don't
it was, like I will cry during movies. My wife will just look over at me like go, "Oh, honey."
Aw.
Like just because like there's just like just a point that just hits my
Yeah.
my heartstrings too hard, and it's just like
I
How
don't
do you
know if
guys
this was.
feel about like music? Like, what's your connection to music?
Oh, I'm
I love
very
music.
in tune. Like I feel like I understand
yes.
metaphors more than I understand like general
Yes,
conversation.
yes,
Me
yes.
So like
True.
lyrics, like anything that has a deeper meaning, I'm like, ooh, what does this mean? And
It's
I'll
also
get
like a
into,
puzzle
all of
too,
that.
so you get to like.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
just
Yeah.
like a translation, but it's also like, ooh, a little thing my brain can do.
Yeah,
Like,
Easter eggs.
yeah.
I think
That.
it could have also just been because my English teachers were the most understanding people when it comes
Same.
to my accommodations. But for me, music, lyrics, poetry,
Same.
like reading, all of that, writing, that is what has always been like my guide when it comes to like figuring out my emotions. I was mentioning earlier, I
Me
moved out
too.
of my parents back in January, and I've started writing since then to try to process my trauma because I feel like written words and written media and like music, I make playlists for different emotions and different traumatic experiences I've had. Music and writing helps me figure all that out because it gives me this tool to explore my very, very deep emotions in a way that's much more beneath the surface than I
Yeah.
think just like talking it out or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
definitely. Yeah,
music
it's
Yeah.
gives
almost
me
like
like emotional guides, sort of.
I
yeah, it's like when you post that you're listening to a specific song on like Spotify or something and you're like, it's like a catalog of how you're feeling that day.
Exactly, yeah. Like whatever playlist I
Yeah.
pick, I'll pick one based, like I said, I'll pick one based on like whatever I'm struggling to process right then that day. I'll pick a playlist about that so that it'll
Yeah.
help me like remember what I was feeling when I put the playlist
That's so
together and
funny.
like
I
what
do
my
Yeah.
that
resolution
too.
was.
And
Yeah.
if I like dissociate during the song, I start it over. So I'm
Yes.
like, I didn't feel the emotion. I
Yeah,
have
if
to
I
start over.
if
I
I
have to go
get
back. I have to feel
distracted,
that
like
emotion.
if I'm listening to a
Same.
song and my roommate like comes in and is like, "Hey, blah blah blah," real quick question, and I miss like 10 seconds, I have to start the whole song all over again.
You're like, it didn't hurt me
Yeah,
hard
I
enough.
absolutely have to do that. Like for me, music is just weird because, like, I don't necessarily grab the metaphors from the lyrics sometimes, but it's just like the overall feel of the song,
Hmm.
like, just makes me, even more motivated or feel a certain way. I remember like years ago, I was writing something for a court matter, like emotion, and for the entire like 2.5 hours that I was working on that, I just listened to like the same metal track over like on a loop just because it got me in the mindset where
That
it's
was
like,
me.
all
Yeah.
right, time to fuck shit up.
Oh my
And
God.
it's like,
I was a competitive varsity and junior Olympic swimmer growing up, and
Nice.
I had the most like I had this pump up playlist
Yeah.
that I listened to. I had a little pink Zune because I didn't have an
Nice.
iPod, and I would just listen to this playlist religiously on the way to my swim meets. I was like, yeah, it was like Let It Rock, Kevin Rudolph, and like Lose Yourself,
I
Eminem, like
love that.
the most like, yeah, I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna fuck
Yeah.
shit up. Like just that kind
Hell
of
yeah.
thing. And I feel like of course like neurotypical people can have hype up playlists too,
Mhm.
but I feel like it just means like music can mean so much more for autistic people because it
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
sensory journey and immersion that we cannot get
Mhm.
otherwise. Like I have Alexas all around my house so that I get like a surround sound
Me
feel.
too.
I love it. I love it
Yeah.
because and when I go out to avoid the like outside noise, I'll wear a noise canceling headset, but I'll also like a Bluetooth headset so that I can listen to music
Mm.
at the same time or have it at a low
Yeah.
volume while I'm talking to people because it just helps me like regulate myself having something to follow along to, I guess. It's interesting the way that like
Yeah.
neurodivergent minds can connect with different media.
Yeah, the
for
songs
real.
are so important to like getting through certain like tasks for me. Like, got rejected for a job I was like really deep on, just played screamo music and did applications to process my emotions, right?
Aw.
Aw.
Before, and like maybe this is just me. I don't know if this is like a coping thing or a brain chemical thing, but like I'm always either very emotional or very analytical, and I very rarely
Oh.
am like in this place in between. So for example, if I have to do like a voiceover performance and I have to get like really sad, like it's like a really sad emotional scene, I have like certain songs or certain scenes in media to like trigger it that I'll go watch or listen to before I do that recording or I perform that scene. Because if I'm not already in that place, it is impossible to get to that place without like
Interesting.
setting that in my head. And I've like found these like catalogs of triggers to do that. And that'll like
Yeah.
get me through writing
Hmm.
a scene. It'll get me through like a job. If I have to do a job that's like more, physically draining, I have like songs that like get me very much like in like a pace that goes like up, down, up, down, up, down, and help me like pace myself through that task.
I wonder if that's like a
Yeah.
sub branch of masking, where you're like, I know
Yeah,
that
I don't
I
really
should feel
know.
this emotion. I'm gonna lean towards things that help me feel that emotion because we can't really do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
There
sure
is
Maybe.
a
really.
way of
Yeah.
stimming.
Oh, interesting. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
triggered
Yeah.
stims. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
to
just
comfort
because,
yourself
like,
or
well, exactly. Like, you know, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the thing that really does, like, comfort me at this point, just because, like, I really like the weirdness.
it is weird.
Hirohiko Araki is, like, amazing, and it's just, like, I like the music in the anime, too. So, like, I'll listen to the opening themes while I work, just because it gets my body bopping and moving in the way that I want it to, like, and it stimulates my brain, where it's like, okay, now I can, like, just focus on this work that I'm supposed to do
Yeah.
without getting, like,
Yeah.
too mentally sucked into something. Because if I
Yeah.
find an interesting video, I will pay full attention to that video as opposed to, like, what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, my boyfriend stayed the night at my place, and we were getting ready to go somewhere else the next day. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's right! I meant to like fix one of my drawers." So I got out the wood glue and the clamps, and he's like, "No, we're leaving. Get dressed. What are you doing? Why do you have clamps in your hands?" I was like,
Yeah.
I feel that's so hard.
Me sliding in last minute things all the time. That's the one thing my girlfriend's still getting used to is like, okay, we're
Yeah.
leaving at this time. And then I'll be waiting on her. And then she'll get done. And then my brain will wait till that moment to be like, wait, you need to go do this thing that I don't actually have to do. And then she'll be like, you were just sitting here doing nothing. And I'm like, yes, but
Yeah.
now this is squeaky and this can't be squeaky. Like, you know.
one thing about me, I will never be early to anything. I am 2 minutes early or on time always. I am never
Yeah.
early to anything because I'm like, oh well, then I know how long it takes me to get ready because I do the same thing every time.
Yes,
I never
very
change my hair and
precise.
makeup. So I know exactly how long it takes me to get ready, and I know exactly how much I'm allowed to like distract myself during, depending on how much time I have. So I will always be ready right on time, never early. Like
Nice.
if
Be
you want
right
me to be
back.
somewhere early, you need to
Okay.
tell me an earlier time so that I'm actually like
Interesting.
mentally preparing for that. Yeah.
That's
I-
weird.
I remember as a kid, my dad would get mad at
I'm
me sometimes. 'Cause I
opposite.
would do the same thing, like just like, oh, I know how long this takes. Like, don't rush me, like, you
Yeah.
know. And he would be complaining like to my mom or to me, you know, because he'd be getting done first. I remember one time I just looked at him I'm like, Dad, you're done first because you're the only one without hair, okay? Like we're all doing our hair and you're because like that's how my brain read it. It's like, why is my dad so frustrated? Like, oh, he has one less task to do. It wasn't me trying to insult him. It was literally my brain
Yeah.
just being like, why does my dad not get it? Oh, because he hasn't had that task to do for like 13 years
Yeah.
or whatever. And so like he doesn't understand that
not
we
trying
have
to
this
be
task.
Insulting. You're just trying to.
Yeah, no,
like,
I'm just like spitting like from
provide
my
the
hip of like
solution.
this is why. And he'd be like I like everyone lost it. But like, yeah, like
I think it's so funny that like I do the same thing where when somebody's struggling with something, if it seems like a very easy like, well, this is why you're struggling to me,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna be like, oh well, like
Mhm.
you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and sometimes I have to catch myself and be like, do they need
Yeah.
to hear that right now?
especially now in a relationship for me too, of being like
Yeah.
there's a level of decor that needs to be met because you are more intimate with this person. They take your words a lot more
Mhm.
deeply, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like, and just you mentioned like getting to see like seeing your parents or whatever. Sorry, my brain. I've already forgotten the exact.
Wait,
words
hold
you
on.
said.
Sorry, the autistic person lost their train of thought? Crazy. Oh my god. What?
The autistic, ADHD, OCD. Yeah,
Yeah.
what can I say?
You're fine.
But it's interesting, like having all these resources and knowing so much about myself now, and like seeing my dad and seeing how he operates, and being like, well, of course you didn't know this and that, or
Yeah.
of course you didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like he's always known that he's autistic, but I don't think he ever like looked into it that much for like how much it affects him. It was just like, I'm autistic, okay, like I'm bad with social things, but it affects every single part of your life because your
Oh,
brain
yeah.
is just wired differently.
Mhm.
And so to me, I see him and I go, okay, well, your parents weren't parenting you correctly. So obviously you didn't know how to parent and you didn't
Yeah.
parent me correctly either. But it's like, that's the logical part of it. And then I think about the emotional part of it and I'm like angry that I'm like, you went through all of this and you didn't bother to figure that out first before having
Yeah.
kids and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's like I either see it as that analytical, he's a person too, or I see it as that emotional, like this is my dad, he should have done more for me, that kind of thing. And it's hard
Right.
to balance that. And it's hard to like look at the adults in your life as an autistic person, especially if you grew up undiagnosed and be like, you saw how much I was struggling and you chose to not do anything, and that is frustrating.
Yeah.
It is
It's
frustrating.
really interesting for me, like looking at the parent thing actually, because when I look at how my folks dealt with like the things that I had going on growing up, like
Mhm.
it's multicultural was like
Yes.
part of the thing. Like so, like my mom's from Iran,
Mhm.
and so she didn't actually notice, like she had the concerns, but she didn't actually notice what was going on with me, and
Yeah.
couldn't have like kind of figured it out. So, but like with my kid, I'm like
Mhm.
actually like noticing like the intricacies that she has, and
Same.
I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, she fell right from the tree. She's got all of me, like all the things that she's doing. Oh no, I would do this, and
She's got
then
her own
like,
coffee bowl.
but kind of. But we'll talk about that later. I don't want to sidetrack. But like it's really crazy though, because not only did she inherit all of my personality traits, but I inherited my parents' response
Yeah.
to those personality traits. So I
Oh.
have to pause and be like, wait, no. This was my parents being an asshole. I should not do this thing. I need
Right.
to respond to these behavior patterns in a way that is like going to help her out. And like once
Yeah.
I this is all like within like the last 2 weeks. Like honestly, like I literally looked at a video and I was like, oh my god. Like I mean, she already fell like straight from the tree. Like I had that moment, but like I was looking at like actual like educational videos on what she was doing and stuff, and then
Mhm.
like I had like this oh my god moment. Like wow, these are really important things for me to notice. These are things that we're gonna have to find accommodations for in school. We have to actually like
Mhm.
go to people and talk about like her personality and stuff. And then like if she fell from the me tree, so to speak, then like what about my idiosyncrasies? Like, what do I have going on? Because like I never even considered like the possibility. Well, I mean, I did obviously, but I never
Yeah.
like really thought it through, right? Like I never went like I never punched the button. Like there's a lot of masking that goes on in like my
Yeah.
realm as well. So it's just like the multi-generational thing is just so fascinating to me because like it stares us in the face, like we see it and we
Yeah.
get used to it, we take it for granted, and then all of a sudden we realize, wait a second, these are important things, we need to look at this, and we need to be a lot more charitable and forgiving to like everyone
Right.
around us, because like holy shit, we're all dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah. And
As an
Yep.
aside of that,
Yeah.
I never understand like going through having like mental deficiencies, quote unquote, by normal society, needing accommodations, being socially ostracized for these issues as well. Going through that and knowing that it made me a more compassionate and loving person as a whole, and then seeing people go
Mhm.
through similar like types of ostracization, and then they become
Yeah.
assholes. I'm like, how does
Yeah.
this?
Oh
What?
my
I think
How
about
does
God.
this
this all
happen?
the time. I think
I'm
about
like,
this
Yeah.
all the
to a
time.
degree, when it's a defense mechanism,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is the defense mechanism that works for you, and that's what you need. But then when they're in positions where they don't need to be defensive, and they just choose
Yeah.
to be an asshole, it's like, what happened here?
And I have the very strong opinion that it's our responsibility, if you are a victim of abuse, it's your responsibility to take control of how you react to that and how
Yes.
you influence the
Yeah.
remainder of the relationships in your life because of that. Because the cycle of abuse begins with an abuser and continues because of the abused. Like that's my biggest thing. I'm super
Mhm.
self-aware because I'm like, I've seen how these attitudes have ruined the lives of my family. I've watched them
Yeah.
lose friends and family and all of that, and I refuse to let that happen to me. So I'm going to do everything in my power to be as understanding and forgiving and compassionate as possible. Because, and you were saying this, what I say about my parents is like, the apple did not fall from the tree. The apple got stuck in the branches on the way down, and the apple is just kind of sitting there, you know?
Mm.
Like
Right.
that's all, and all I can do is try to like make sure that the things that happen to me don't impact the rest of my relationships because I haven't healed, because I haven't taken the authority to say that was not
Mm.
okay and I need to treat my other relationships differently.
Yeah, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean,
that
you
was
got to
really
break
well
the
said.
cycle of abuse, and that's just something that, like, there are a lot of toxic behaviors that could pop out from, living your life the way that you do without addressing these issues.
Mhm.
And both of my parents have had issues that they've dealt with that, weren't resolved ever.
Yeah.
And one of the things that my dad I guess one of the things that my dad does, because he's on the spectrum, but he never really got tested, but I suspect it because I act just like him and I got that diagnosis. But
Mhm.
like he just impulsively makes decisions without consulting anyone, even if it's like a decision that ends up financially hurting him and mom. And it's
Mhm.
like I I notice a lot of these things that he does, and I just have to like continue to just work to not like carry on that kind of habit
Yeah.
because I understand why these things happen, why those impulses come about, and how these problems surface. So I guess like it's also just having that awareness just to, try and like break that curse and just do things that are better for you and everyone else in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
to like relate this back to our like original discussion, it's interesting because your parents are the ones who are supposed to give you the tools to navigate life as an
Yeah.
Yeah.
adult and professionally. So if you lack those, then it can be really hard to be able to advocate for yourself and get the accommodations you need
Right.
and establish the boundaries that you need to have in order to succeed as an adult with autism and any other problems that you have comorbid with that.
I think for me
Yeah.
also one
Yeah.
of the saddest parts of my childhood, like not like in a bad way, but just like made me like really sad, like was seeing my parents, especially raising two other kids who are neurotypical, and seeing like their frustration, their own pain and sadness, understanding that they, before they knew what was going on with me,
Mhm.
didn't have those tools to give me, and an understanding like, oh my god, am I failing as a parent? Like, did
Yeah.
I do something wrong? Did my parents do something wrong with me? And just seeing how like that like kind of starts to cycle in on itself from there. But I
Yeah.
really loved everything we've hit on here. Honestly, I loved
Me
that
too.
we've ended on
It's been an amazing conversation with you.
love and compassion. Kevin, Sel, thank you so much for hanging out with us, having this great discussion. Where can people find you too, Kevin? Why don't we start with you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can find me at the Kevin FM on Twitch. I also have a YouTube channel. I have an Instagram because I'm finally starting to come out of the mold and realize there are other social media platforms aside from
Nice.
Twitter that I can promote myself on. And yeah, if you're interested in discussions about history, law, or social justice, then that's where I be.
We
You can
love that
find me
on
on
this
that
channel.
channel.
It
Heck
screams it with
yeah.
the bow tie. The bow tie is so professional.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh man,
Love
Thank
it.
you.
wait, Kevin, have you ever thought about getting like, the clown ones that spin? You do that, but you
Oh my
have like a
gosh.
nice satin bow. Like it's not a joke bow.
Oh
It's a real
man.
professional bow, but it spins.
Nice. Love
I
that.
would honestly, I haven't thought about that, but I would freaking love that. I would love that so much.
Hashtag get
Hell
Kevin the
yeah.
bow. I don't
Get
know. There's
Kevin
like
the bow.
hashtag there somewhere. So what about you?
Uh, I am on many social media sites and I have several different accounts. Most people will know me as Celluxies, but recently I've taken a break from WoW to content creation because of the Race to World First and the reaction I got from the community about that. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Celluxies, but most of my other platforms I'm swapping to Celine, not Dion, because there's an extra E in there, and whenever I meet somebody new, they go, like Dion? And I go, no, not.
So I don't know if you know this. My
No.
last name is Knowles, like Beyonce. I get the exact same thing. Even
I
though I'm
did that
white,
to
I'm
him.
fucking white.
I'm
like,
like,
why would you say this?
Beyonce? Yeah.
So yeah, but you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Celluxies and my other platforms, Twitch and stuff. I do have Celluxies as those as well, but you'll find me on Celine, not Dion from here on out. I'm on YouTube and Twitch, and I do variety games and other stuff. And I talk about my journey to like realizing all these things about my childhood that we didn't get addressed and that I had to live without, and relearning all of these things as an adult and as a newly independent adult, and moving forward in the world professionally and socially as somebody
Yeah.
with all of my various identities. So
Yeah,
that's what my
looking
stuff is about.
looking into your stuff when Josh brought up your name to me, I would love to have you back on for just like an
Yes.
episode, or on my personal channel even, just to like talk about some of that
Yeah.
stuff. I think you have like a really interesting life you've carved out for yourself as someone who has a lot of like accommodation needs and a lot of things that society is not equipped to handle right now, unfortunately.
Exactly. I got a letter from the government back in 2019, 2020 that said, I was going to be on disability forever because there was no job in the American economy that would have been able to suit my needs.
Do
And I was
not get
like,
me started
Oh,
with
jeez.
Word.
the problem with the U.S. government's disability payments. Do not even get me
Yeah.
started on that. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, watching the VOD, all those links will be below for Kevin and Cell as well. So you can go find all their personal
Give
channels,
them a
Twitters, all
follow.
that
They're
stuff.
wonderful.
You can find Jess and me as a disembodied voice, and Josh Miller returning next week to Weekly Stand Up every Sunday here at twitch.tv/Weekly Stand Up. Thank you all for joining me. It's been a wonderful discussion, and you're all beautiful people.
Yeah, it was great.
All right,
Loved being here.
thank you so much,
It's been
chat.
a lot of fun.
Oh, we'll raid Kevin. Kevin, you're still alive, right? We'll go raid Kevin.
We'll go raid you.
Go hang out, have a good time
thank
over
you.
there.
Yeah.
Is it the Kevin FM or Kevin FM? I always forget.
It's the Kevin FM.
I was like, that is not your logo that's popping up. That is not it. Go hang out with Kevin over there. Have a good time, and we'll see you all next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great Sunday.
Bye.
Later, yo.
Bye.
And we're out.